Have you subscribed? Yes, you. Have you subscribed? You. Yeah, before you go, click. It's free. Click. Just that's it. Have you subscribed? Thank you so much for watching. Thank you. Have you subscribed? Yes, you. Have you subscribed? You. Yeah, before you go, click. It's free. Click. Just that's it. Have you subscribed? You are laughing. Have you subscribed? Have you subscribed? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, madam. Thank you so much. I can see you. I can see you. We have to get to 100,000 subscribers. By the end of the year, how are we going to do that if you don't subscribe? Yes, you. Yes, you're about to click off. Why? Have you subscribed? It's free. If you don't, ask your son. Ask your daughter. How to? Just one click. Thank you. Thank you. I see you. Aha. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on your geographical location. Thank you for joining us this evening, this lovely morning. Sincere apologies for starting late. It's due to circumstances beyond our control. As you can see, the topic is the dismissed military female officer Ruth Ogunleye versus the military and the struggle of the Nigerian women in that space. She was dismissed due to a complaint of sexual harassment, and this has been going on for some time. One must commend her braveness for coming out for highlighting this issue. I will wait for Adama and our guests to join us. We will listen to some of the videos that we have ongoing. But before then, I'll use the floor to Tope to say, give a shout out to.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you, Electricity. How are you?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm good. And yourself?
Very well, thank you. I've missed you. Welcome, everybody. Kedu Kodi, Ekaro, Ekason, Sonudazua. It's so nice to be here with everyone. We missed you. We apologize for the break in transmission. Please enjoy the show today. Be open-minded and enjoy the show.
Thank you very much, Tope. So we'll play our first video for the day in respect to the dismissal.
2022, I was supposed to Cantonment Medical Center Ojo, where I met Konyabi Abukani, who requested sex from me and I refused. Ever since then, this man has been my nightmare in the army.
This is one of the videos done by Private Ruth Ogunleye accusing Colonel I.B. Abdul Karim of several offenses, including sexual harassment, intimidation, and threat to life. Ogunleye, who served at the Cantonment Medical Center Ojo, says she was stigmatized for refusing the officer's sexual advances. Ogunleye made the allegations in January 2024, but said the maltreatment had gone on for a while, as far back as 2022, unchecked by the Nigerian army. 8 months later, the Nigerian army says it has concluded investigations and found the military officer not guilty and Ogunleye mentally unstable.
The investigation concluded that Colonel I.B. Abdul Karim did not commit the offense of sexual harassment as alleged by ex-Private Ruth Ogunleye. The findings were definitive and based on objective evaluation of the available information.
The army says Private Ogunleye has also been discharged from the force after medical evaluations showed she had potential mental health concerns. The army has also shelved any disciplinary procedures that could have been brought against her based on medical recommendations and promised to pay some benefits which it says Ogunleye isn't qualified for.
Further to this, ladies and gentlemen, though ex-Private Ruth did not serve up to pensionable years of service, which is 10 years, she has nonetheless been discharged from the Nigerian Army with 50% disability claim, meaning she will receive a 50% monthly pension for life.
Journalists at the event asked several clarifications, including medical records of the dismissed officer and the motivation for paying Ruth's benefits, which she isn't qualified to collect.
And so I'm really worried why it has taken the Nigerian army close to 10 months to come out with these findings.
In response, the army refused to show evidence that Ogunleye is medically unstable due to legal reasons, but referred journalists to the National Hospital where the examinations were conducted.
Medical inconfidence makes it impossible for you to bring the document and say, this is her medical report from the hospital. We can't do that. It's against the ethics of the profession.
Meanwhile, Ruth Ogunleye has continued her social media campaign. She criticizes the army's investigation and says her discharge is an injustice.
The army promised to do investigation. At the end of the day, I was boarded out without my consent. Why? What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong?
Issues of sexual harassment, gender-based violence and human rights abuses are often reported in the military, despite several measures taken to address them. Ferdinand Duroha, Arise News.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Ruth Ogunleye. Before I say anything in this video, I will want to say a big thank you to the Nigerian Army and to the Army Speakman and Brigadier General Onyemachuku for taking his time to post me on all social media platform, newspaper, radio station. It's not easy. That is to show how special I am. That is to show how powerful I am. I really appreciate. I think I need a standing ovation for that. And it's no longer a news that I was discharged out of the army 15th June 2024. I want to humbly request that the Nigerian army publish the outcome of the investigation that led to my discharge on all social media platforms, including radio station, all channels. January 9, 2024, I came on social media to complain on how I was harassed by Colonel I.B. Abdulkarim, General I.B. Sholebo, Colonel G.S. Ogo, how I was raped, how I was injected with Lacatine injection, how I was put inside casket, how Colonel I.B. Abdulkarim pointed gun at me, how Colonel I.B. Abdulkarim handcuffed me and kept me inside this office for some days. I also want to beg the Nigerian army to post the outcome of the investigation on all social media platforms, so that the whole wide world will know what really transpired between myself and Abdulkarim and what led to my discharge. I'll be very, very grateful if you people considered my request. If you guys approved my request. I also want it to be published on all social media platforms. Same way I was published that I've been dismissed. And I don't have enough to say in this video. On behalf of I and my family, we are saying a big thank you for posting my name, Ogunleye Ruth. At the mention of my name, everybody began to speak in different tongues. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you, sir. Brigadier General Onyemachuku. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you, sir, for joining us, for joining the profile. And sincere apologies again for the late commencement of the program. Our last statement is at the mention of her name. Everyone started to speak in tongue. I'll give the floor to you to introduce yourself very well to our audience before we delved into the matter of the day and you weigh in. And I believe some of the audience will join us and they will put questions to you in this regard. The floor is yours, sir. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for having me this evening. My name is Adai Edwin Adai. I'm a politician, a teacher, a policy analyst, and I'm a Nigerian. So good evening, everyone. Sincerely, I heard what she said, but I think I will allow you to probably throw the right questions so we can begin to have our conversation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. On this segment, some of our guests normally we turn off camera, but because you're our guest, we're not going to turn off camera today. So if you're joining, you can have your camera on this because we have a guest around. Yes, medical records are usually kept confidential. But there she is saying that waving that right away, asking the Nigerian army to publish a medical record for the old wide world to see. And the issue of sexual harassment, it's ripe in our society, not just in the private, not just in the public sector, also in the private sector. However, the focus tonight is in respect to the lady for coming out to say that she was sexually harassed. The Nigerian army claimed, according to the first video we watched, that she's not mentally stable. I'm not a medical personnel, so what's your own position in that regard, please?
Well, first and foremost, I would like to congratulate Ruth for having the courage and the boldness to speak up in respect to a lot of things that is happening within the system. Ordinarily, I wouldn't want a situation where I'm talking against the Nigerian military, particularly the Nigerian army, because these are, or let me say, these are institutions that, in my opinion, is a very revered institution. And particularly coupled with the fact that I'm personally, the person that is speaking to you right now is a son of a military man. And unfortunately and sadly, the military we used to know, the quality of discipline in the Nigerian army essentially is something that we need to rethink, because I am privileged to know some certain things that is happening based on the fact that I was brought up in the barracks. And I know that it is very difficult, very rare for a private, Ruth, she's a private. Now, the Nigerian military is known for discipline. If you pass through the rigorous exercise of going through that training, you understand that there are certain limits you cannot cross. There are certain boundaries you cannot cross. There are certain things that is expected of you not to do. And in my opinion, I believe strongly that Ruth Ogunleye understood the rules of engagement, and therefore for her to come out openly to say some generals, some senior military personnel did this and did that to her, sexually harassed her. In my personal opinion, I don't want to believe she's lying. I really don't want to believe she's lying, because I know that it is literally, practically, almost impossible for a private to accuse a colonel. It's unheard of. I want to believe that if she wasn't sexually harassed, she can't come out openly and begin to accuse the military hierarchy. And because of, let me say, the way the whole thing is perceived right now is a public matter. And with all due respect, I want to say that it wasn't treated the way it ought to have been treated, to the best of my knowledge. I don't think the matter was handled the way it ought to have been handled.
Thank you very much for that. Yes, the military, it's an institution that needs to be respected. But over the years, you will agree with me that the military has not respected even the civilians that they are meant to protect, and unfortunately, their high-handedness over time has made the public not to have respect for the military. And like you rightly said, that it's going to be it's difficult for a private to accuse a colonel and come out openly. So we go on that argument that she is correct. Now, we're looking at the society at large in terms of protecting, giving more protection for our women. I have a panelist here with me. His name is Kenneth, and I believe he will have questions or his own view on the matter to put to you. Kenneth, welcome on the show. I'll yield the floor to you if you want to weigh in on the matter and ask our guest a question. Thank you.
Yes, good day, Mr. Adoin Edwin. I don't know if I got it right. Good evening.
Yeah, you got it right. Yeah. Okay.
So, am I supposed to ask the question or just have my contribution?
Yeah, whichever one you want to do, Kenneth.
Okay, I don't have a question for him. I think he has said, he said it the way it's supposed to be. For some of us that have lived in the barracks, we know how things work there. For an officer of our level, just as your guest said it, to accuse a senior officer, not one officer, about three, is not something that she could do without actually that event happening. And this is why I said that she's not the first victim. We've had one beauty, Uzezi, of the Nigerian Air Force, last time again, accused one officer of drugging her and raping her, a former instructor actually. And this Uzezi was just 19 years old. He drugged her, raped her, and then when she spoke about it, she was dismissed from the Nigerian Air Force. This son, Falana, took up the case to ECOWAS court. Mind you, for the case to go to the extent of going to ECOWAS court, it means that there was no fate for them in the Nigerian court. So the ECOWAS court found him guilty, and a compensation about $200,000 was to be paid to this lady. That officer, as I'm talking to you now, is still with the Nigerian Air Force, never been sanctioned. And then we had another one, Lance Corporal Philomena of the Nigerian Army again, because she refused to give in to sexual advancement. She was sent to Yaba Psychiatric and recommended for mental health treatment without actually being evaluated for such. So this is not the first time. We have a lot of them. And this is the decaying system that we are living in, where the Nigerian Army claim that Nigerian military claim that they have their own courts. So whatever that happens in the system will pass through their own court. And at the end of the day, what happens? The officers will be protected while the victim will be punished. So this is something that Nigerian government should look into. It is not supposed to be so. these female officers that joined the Nigerian Air Force, Nigerian Army, or Navy were there to provide, kind of a service to the nation. They are not there for prostitution. They are not there to warm your bed. You have your wives. If you don't have a wife, go and find one or go and get a girlfriend. So why must you use your authority or your power to subdue them into giving into what they wouldn't voluntarily want to do with you? And again, most of them have been drugged, forced into this, and again, being punished. See, the cruelty is too much. I, for one, am not happy with this, the way the situation or the matter is being swept under the carpet as if nothing happened. This is someone's daughter, for goodness sake. And for this to be happening in the Nigerian Army, Nigerian Air Force, and Navy, and nothing is done about that, my prayer for them is they have their own daughters. Their daughters, for the perpetrators of this act, their daughters will experience the same thing. And they will feel the pain. That is my prayer for them. They will feel the pain of forcefully entering somebody else's daughter. See, if I don't know, I don't want to say anything, Sha. But I still believe our traditional gods still strike with thunder and fire. I will consult. Okay, it's okay. Thank you.
This is a serious issue. Like what Kenneth said, I'm going to focus on what you also said and what she said, that she was drugged, she was put in a casket, she was locked up in the room. This is not just this is somebody's daughter, and how can we? Focusing on the present government, can the present government do anything to sanitize the system, this present government, because the armed forces is under the present government? What do you think can be done in this regard, sir, please?
Well, you see, it is a very sad situation, just like my brother just mentioned. You see, the level of gender-based violence, the level of impunity, and human rights violation that is ongoing within what I would call some revered institution is appalling. I expected, with all due respect, that the chairman Senate Committee on Army, whoever he is, I expect the chairman Senate Committee on Army to rise up, because of course, most of them were elected. This is one of the major reasons why they were elected and given responsibility, a specific role to play. I would have expected that an independent body, they cannot, see, to be honest, the Nigerian Army ought not to have been a judge in their own case. Who are the people that judge the matter? Those who perpetrated these acts are not other rank. They are not the rank and files. They are the high-ranking officers, generals and colonel. There is every suspicion, or there is every predisposition for you to think that they could even be classmates. They sat down in the comfort of their home or in the comfort of wherever they found themselves and decided that, look, this girl, after all, she's a private. We are colonels and generals talking here. Who the hell is a private to come and question our integrity in the public space? That will tell you the level of impunity and recklessness that is ongoing in the system today. With all due respect, I'm a Nigerian. I live in Nigeria. When you see what is wrong, you condemn it. And when you see what is right, you stand for it. As far as I'm concerned, the military hierarchy ought not to have been a judge in their own case. The National Assembly should speak up. I understand that the Minister of Women Affairs went and intervened. How much can she do? By the time you stand in the presence of this high-powered military men, or in fact, they have the capacity to even intimidate the Minister of Women Affairs. She doesn't have that capacity, with all due respect. But the truth of the matter is that I expect the National Assembly to wade into this matter, not to sweep this matter into the carpet, under the carpet. Something went wrong. And I want to understand that, look, let me tell you, the way the military works, for a private to come to the public space, she must have exhausted every options. She must have tried everything humanly possible within her power, because, of course, by virtue of the training, she knew the consequences if she goes to the public space. And apparently, from my own understanding and my own opinion, there is every tendency that she must have gone and seek redress for where she ought to have seek. Probably she found not. In one of her confessions, she said she was drugged, she was injected, put into the casket. I mean, what kind of inhuman treatment is that? Somebody's daughter, you injected her, put her into a casket, and the military hierarchy who are supposedly to stand as, the moral, institutions that will stand against this impunity are telling us that the young lady, she's mentally ill. Where are the evidence? Can we subjected all of these things into what I will call forensic testing to actually find out that this girl, whether she's sick or not? I want to believe, with all due respect, that the Nigerian army are being economical with the truth, and I expect every Nigerian should condemn it irrespective of whose hawk is gore, and injustice to one and injustice to all. How do we build a sane system or an institution when even the very people who are supposed to protect our interests are the one abusing it? It's appalling. It's uncalled for. It's disrespectful. And I can tell you, with all due respect, this gender-based violence has gone too far. It's not only happening in the military, it's everywhere. And until and unless Nigerians are beginning to question some of this abnormality going in the system, we will never have a sane system that we can be proud of. I do believe, with all due respect, that we should not allow this incident to be swept under the carpet. Let's speak out. It can be your sister, it can be your brother. Next time. Because you see, the military, with all due respect, they have a way of thinking that, there's what, I always perceive that this excessive self-pride among the military is just something that they feel. I think they're having this false sense of belonging, or all this self-entitlement of thinking that, they're above the law. Nobody should be above the law. So I think we should speak up. Is something that I want to believe, with all due respect, that we should not allow this whole thing to be swept under the carpet. We should take this matter to the National Assembly and see that the Chairman Senate Committee set up an independent body to still reinvestigate this whole scenario that have just happened.
Thank you, sir. Our ladies, this is the podcast is a ladies segment. They will soon be joining us. They are running behind time. They are actually supposed to be anchoring me, so I'm just stepping in on their behalf. They've been looking forward to have a chat with you. We've just been joined by Tony, okay, and Mr. Revolution. We have a guest in our midst, Mr. Adam. You've heard him. I don't know if you heard a video that was played earlier. I think the first video, I think I would love to play it again because the Nigerian army, it's like you said, sir, it's appalling. And for her to say, publish the records, publish my record out there for everyone to see. She has waived a right of confidentiality, and that is a braveness. I'm just going to play the video again before I give other panelists a chance to say or put a question up to you. So again, thank you for joining us, and apologies for the for us starting late.
2022, I was posted to Cantonment Medical Center Ojo, where I met Konyabi Abukani, who requested sex from me and I refused. Ever since then, this man has been my nightmare in the army.
This is one of the videos done by Private Ruth Ogunleye accusing Colonel IB Abdulkarim of several offenses, including sexual harassment, intimidation, and threat to life. Ogunleye, who served at the Cantonment Medical Center Ojo, says she was stigmatized for refusing the officer's sexual advances. Ogunleye made the allegations in January 2024, but said the maltreatment had gone on for a while, as far back as 2022, unchecked by the Nigerian army. 8 months later, the Nigerian army says it has concluded investigations and found the military officer not guilty and Ogunleye mentally unstable.
The investigation concluded that Colonel IB Abdulkarim did not commit the offense of sexual harassment as alleged by ex-private Ruth Ogunleye. The findings were definitive and based on objective evaluation of the available information.
The army says Private Ogunleye has also been discharged from the force after medical evaluations showed she had potential mental health concerns. The army has also shelved any disciplinary procedures that could have been brought against her based on medical recommendations and promised to pay some benefits which it says Ogunleye isn't qualified for.
Further to this, ladies and gentlemen, though ex-private Ruth did not serve up to pensionable years of service, which is 10 years, she has nonetheless been discharged from the Nigerian army with 50% disability claim, meaning she will receive a 50% monthly pension for life.
Journalists at the event asked several clarifications, including medical records of the dismissed officer and the motivation for paying Ruth's benefits, which she isn't qualified to collect.
And so I'm really worried why it has taken the Nigerian army close to 10 months to come out with these findings.
In response, the army refused to show evidence that Ogunleye is medically unstable due to legal reasons, but referred journalists to the National Hospital where the examinations were conducted.
Medical inconfidence makes it impossible for you to bring the document and say, this is her medical report from the hospital. We can't do that. It's against the ethics of the profession.
Meanwhile, Ruth Ogunleye has continued her social media campaign. She criticizes the army's investigation and says her discharge is an injustice.
The army promised to do investigation. At the end of the day, I was boarded out without my consent. Why? What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong?
Issues of sexual harassment, gender-based violence and human rights abuses are often reported in the military, despite several measures taken to address them. Ferdinand Duroha, Arise News.
Yeah, welcome back again. Thank you for joining us, and we have our ladies joining us. Tope just lost Tope. Okay, she's there. Sorry. I'm not seeing Tope. I can see her at the background, but I'm not seeing her on the stage. I don't know why.
I'm here.
Oh, sorry. Goodness me. Sorry, apologies. So I will be handing it over to the ladies. That's Adama and that's Tokwe. They are the main anchor of this podcast. I'm only just stepping in for them. Adama and Tokwe, the floor is all yours. Thank you.
Greetings to everyone. My name is Adama. I'm sorry I was running late. Duty call, Sorry, I do apologize. Welcome to the show, everyone. Electricity, I just saw the video we played, and I just wanted to ask you a question before you leave. What are we talking about so I can know where to pick up from?
We have our guest here who has already weighed in respect to the dismissed military woman in deck, as to the unfairness of the army. And she is a private army and coming out to speak boldly. Our guest weighed in on that the incident must have happened, because it's not an easy thing for her to come out in the public to say such a thing. And she went further. The second video, she waived her right so that the records can be published. At the end of the day, it's about protecting our women and the issue of sexual harassment, both in the private and the public sector, that is going on. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Mr. Ada, I don't want to pronounce your name wrong. I'm sorry, I'm not good with pronunciation, sir. How do you pronounce your name, sir?
Adai Edwin Adai. Adai. Adai, yes.
Okay, Mr. Edwin Adai. I want to start by asking you, are you a politician or what is your background? Can you give us a little bit about your background, sir?
Yeah, I think you came late into the program. I've earlier introduced myself. I'm a politician. I'm a leader in the country. Although I'm a member of the opposition party.
What party do you belong to, sir?
Is that like just opposition? Just take it as an opposition for now. I don't want us to go so that maybe when I start making my comments, you start thinking probably I'm harsh on the government or something. But I think we are Nigerians and we live here. So you can take it up from there.
Okay. All right. So I want to, he gave his opinion. And sir, while we are talking about this is something that has to do with the military. And I heard your opinion a little bit. I'm sorry, I was handling something, prescriptions. I'm a doctor, so I'm sorry. So I just want to ask you, sir, in terms of the military, what would you say they have done so far in regards to this case, sir?
Well, just to put it in a very short, terms, I don't think justice is done. I don't think so. I don't think the military ought not to be a judge in our own case. Who knows who are the people who actually investigated this matter? We need to know them. They could even be of the same cause with the so-called colonels and the generals. And therefore, there is every tendency for them to be biased. You see, by virtue of the fact that I'm a son of a retired military man, I understand how difficult it is. You see, there's something you cannot take out from the military. Discipline. You can't take out discipline from the military. But unfortunately and sadly, I don't think what is playing out now or the accusation by Ruth Ogunleye was a lie. Because for a private, you can't even accuse a corporal, not to talk of a captain. You understand what I'm saying? What this lady, see, the accusation is to the top military echelon, generals and colonel. This crop of people are not joke anywhere in the country. So it is a very complex thing for a lady, for a private to just wake up in the morning to cook up stories and say these people did that. No, I don't want to believe so. With all due respect to what the military had said, I sincerely don't want to believe it's true. I expected the Chairman Senate Committee on Army to wade into this matter. I expected that an independent body devoid of any affiliation to the military to investigate this matter again, probably maybe the National Assembly and some clergymen, if I would recommend. And for a lady to say, come out publicly to accuse the top hierarchy of the Nigerian army, I sincerely don't want to believe that she's lying. She must have exhausted every options. She must have cried out, and probably maybe that is her last resort. She's a minor, for crying out loud. Do you understand? So for me, I don't think justice is done. I think that we all should speak up. I think that if there is a way we can lead, of course, I know that I'm a member of the opposition. We can actually take this matter again and probably visit the National Assembly and probably set up a committee to meet with the Chairman Senate Committee on Army to look into this matter to ensure that justice is done. Because I don't think that justice is being served, and I don't think that the gender-based violence, the impunity, and the human rights abuse was properly taken care of. I don't think so, with all due respect.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I'm going to go over to the panelists, and then I'm going to have them ask you any questions that you might ask. And I just want you to keep an open mind, sir. They might ask you something that is not based on this topic. So I hope you are ready to answer the questions our panelists might have for you, sir. Do you agree to that?
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you. Topa, do you have a question before I go?
Yes, it's going to be brief. Welcome, Mr. Adai. I hope everyone can hear me.
Yeah, of course. Go ahead.
And the rest of the panelists, good evening. Thank you so much for joining on. My take on Ruth's case is that this is a really sad situation. It just reminded me of a kangaroo judgment, because I'm thinking, while listening to the top military officials, pass a judgment, I'm thinking, are we saying we don't have women at the top general level that could have actually stood up for her as a female in this situation? Because all I saw there were top military officials that were all men.
Well, with all due respect, if you look at the Nigerian army very well, especially the Nigerian army, in that top level, you rarely see women, top level female officials who are handling or holding sensitive position, as the case may be. So even if they are there, even if we have few women there, maybe they are very few. And you see, in a situation where you have more dominant men, and we have this mentality in Nigeria, we don't see, unfortunately and sadly, we don't see sexual harassment like a big deal. It's unfortunate. We don't see it as a big deal. They would discuss it very casually. They would discuss it just like, like a beer parlor kind of, talk. They are not seeing the pain. That empathy is not there. I observe it's not always there, especially with the militaries, not just only the Nigerian army. It's something that has been built into their mindset of thinking that is a normal thing. They're not seeing it like something that, can be interpreted as a felony or a serious crime. And that is where the problem lies. Until a society become conscious of the gravity of what it takes, or the emotional trauma, because they are not even seeing it from that perspective. Do you understand? If you put it forward to them, they'll say, after all, is she not a lady? Is she not above 18 years? So I think that mindset, until we begin to work on this kind of crazy mindset to reorientate our leaders, because of course, I don't want to believe that if you have gotten to the to the rank of a general, you are still small. No, but you see, we have this kind of mentality that what we are supposed to take serious in this country, we just treat it with a kid glove, which ought not to be. That is the situation we found ourselves.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to go to Ekene. I believe Ekene came in here first. Ekene, can you unmute and you can ask him your question? Thank you.
Yeah, I think I was given a chance
earlier.
Yeah,
So we should have two
spoken
Nigerians.
earlier. We have the next person is supposed to be a Revolution, but it's left Mr. Tony AK. Then I think two Niger. Yeah, so
Uncle
the
KJ
next
and
person is
Uncle Janaba.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Tony, okay, could you please unmute, sir? Could you ask your question? Welcome to the show, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, and greetings to everybody on the platform. There are three issues here, in my own opinion. One, the junior officer made a complaint of sexual harassment, which is an offense, and she did not receive a fair hearing, in her opinion. And then two, the response of the military, based on whatever investigations or facts that they have, the panel that investigated it found it to be false and claimed that the lady Ruth Ogunleye, was not senile, had a mental issue. In other words, all what she was saying was not true. And then the third thing was that she was eased out of the military, her career truncated, and so those are, for me, the three issues here. I'm not in the military, although I have a son in the military, but I know that the military has its own culture, a way of dealing with things relating to its members. And so the first thing that will be done is for the military to investigate the issue. Okay. It's a very difficult case.
So what is your question, sir?
My just based on what I have heard from the military and what we have heard from the lady, she's been on the media, I am suspicious of the fact that we haven't had everything concerning that incident. That's a very serious offense. And if the military found it not to be true, I think the sanction, whatever the penalty in quote that was given to the lady will be harsher, because this is against very senior military officers. So the fact that they retired her from, well, she's not due for retirement, they're willing to pay her 50%, and it speaks to me, there's something wrong with that, because the army doesn't take quite literally accusations like that if they're false. So I think there's something not told. That's what I would say. And looking at the lady from her television appearances, she doesn't look like someone who is unstable mentally.
Adama, we can't hear you.
Oh, thank you, sir. I don't think that was a question. Maybe I'm wrong. Was that a comment you just made? I thought you had a question for Mr. Ada. That's why I was asking you. What was the question? I can't hear you. You're muted.
Sorry, I was just making a general comment. It wasn't a question. I was just making a general comment.
All right, thank you, sir. I'll go to Niger. To Niger, welcome to the show. Do you have a question for special guest, Mr. Ada? And do you have any comments in regards to the Ruth case? Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Adam. And greetings to everyone on the panel. Special greetings to the guest. And greetings to the ones in the chat and to the viewers. You know, my coming down here has nothing to do with supporting the ladies. I just came to address the point. You know, I'm not here to support any of you. You know,
Do you have to say that? Did you have to say that?
I'm just saying. I still have a better against you people. But point is, okay. On a more serious situation, the lady, I saw her video and I found it a little bit disturbing. Why I consider it disturbing is because there are various aspects to this. If, let's say, her case was serious, because she said some very, very serious, she made some very, very, very serious allegations, which also means a lot of women in the military today could be in danger. And at the same time, she also sounded a little bit shaky in terms of being mentally stable. That is a concern, because if you have those two things mixed up, then it's harder to pin the suspects down. They can get it, and maybe they did it to her, for all we know. That's the sad part. Maybe they did it to her. And what I am a bit curious about is where is her family in all this? Is it because the officers involved are very powerful, they are scared to come and back her up? Her friends, she seems to be alone. And obviously there has to be other victims of this, because people that behave like this don't do it once. And but they are not coming out. None of them are coming out, and the family members are not coming out. She's just alone. The sad thing is that if she's telling the truth, which there's very high likelihood that there's a lot of truth to what she's saying, she's shouldering it all alone. And I've seen this happen in the West, where you have a culture of cover-ups. They cover up for themselves, and officers and people get abused. The question for our own the guests, and that I will leave for the viewers, is how do we get the female officers to be able to come out and make their case and have the investigation done in a way that is independent of the military? Also, to the guest, since he's a politician, I don't know if he's a lawmaker. Is this something you will be looking? Are you open to looking at having an independent inquiry into such allegations inside the Nigerian military? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Niger. Go ahead, sir.
All right. I listened to your comments and your submission. Well, let me start by putting it this way. This is not just a battle for the women alone. An injustice to one is an injustice to all. If we have people in the leadership positions that cannot be held accountable, then we are joking as a nation. There's a level where you have attained that certain behavior or character is not expected to play in that level, especially when you are even holding a sensitive office, like as a senior military personnel. There are certain threshold that your behavior should not degenerate into. And that is why I still hold the view that irrespective of what the military have said, collectively we can mobilize young people, collectively we can mobilize members of the opposition political party to probably write a formal letter to the Chairman Senate Committee on Army and the Chairman House Committee on Army and state it clearly, some of the recommendations. We should be able to put it straight to them that, look, it is not the statutory responsibility of the Minister of Women Affairs to investigate such matter. The matter is in the public glare. Nigerians at home and in the diaspora are speaking on the ill manner that the military have handled this issue. And therefore, if Nigerians are not satisfied with the recommendations and the submissions and the so-called investigation from the military, it is expected that this issue should and ought not to be swept under the carpet. And those who are statutorily responsible to investigate and to call the top military hierarchy to order is the National Assembly. But again, even if they know, it is our responsibility as a citizens to put this thing in writing collectively in a very formal manner, go to the National Assembly, submit this document and probably make a recommendation and also express our dissatisfaction on the way and manner that the military have conducted the so-called investigation. Until and unless we're able to do that, until and unless we are aggressive about it, because sometimes, don't even forget that even if you approach this matter by reaching out to the National Assembly, there is a way, because of the level of impunity, because of the level of, how things are being done in this country, nobody is accountable for anything. It seems like even the law is not working. I'm sorry to say, with all due respect, I don't want to sound the way I'm sounding. But of course, there are certain things that is happening. You have no, you have no reason to begin to be more constructive. You understand? Each and every one of us, we want to be constructive. Nobody wants to criticize the country because we love this country. It's our country. But there are certain things that is happening. You don't have a choice but to express, your intention the way you should. And that is why I am saying that, with all due respect to the Nigerian army, we won't allow this matter to just slide. I'm privileged to know some of the lawmakers myself. I'm privileged to know, some of them that I can actually talk to. If for any reasons the Chairman Senate Committee and the Chairman House Committee decide to call the military and ask them some pertinent question in the eyes of the camera, probably in the National Assembly, who will be able to unravel the truth? Because you see, I don't want I don't want it to, this thing to look as if, look, this lady has a right. They should call her up. Probably some human rights lawyers should rally around her. Maybe when we table this matter to the public and the proper investigation is carried out, we will be able to know the truth so that those who are supposed to be held culpable should be held culpable. If not, there are so many ladies in the military because what they actually have done is an intimidation. So tomorrow, if we have a minor who is supposedly being harassed or intimidated, she won't be able to express herself because of the fear of being dismissed. So I think it is appropriate. It is a sane thing to do, just for the sake of other female military officers who are in the police, who are in the civil defense, who are in the Navy, so that tomorrow, if anything of this nature happens, they should be able to speak up and they will be rest assured that they will get justice. Or if anything less, I'm not a subscriber to that. I think that is my submission.
Thank you. Uncle KJ, I'm going to come to you. Uncle Janaba, I know you were the one supposed to speak, but Uncle KJ said he has to leave. Do I have your permission to let him go, please?
Thank you, Janaba. Thank you for giving me the chance. I am actually in a conference. I stepped out because of the importance of this. Listen, let's first of all, put it in the right perspective. If a lady comes to complain of sexual harassment, the first thing to do is to believe such a complaint. Believe such a complaint before you begin to look for whether it is true or not. Nobody will want to come and say, I've been sexually assaulted if there's no smoke in that truth, in that word that he or she is speaking. Second of all, this is the military. This individual knows exactly how high and highly respected a colonel. I don't know if it's if it's a lieutenant colonel or a full colonel. In other words, if it's a full colonel, he's already a redneck officer, as they call it in the army. That means that he has come to the highest point of the army. And so to go against such an individual, she knows the consequence of it. And she has constantly mentioned one person. She didn't say two people. She said one individual. She has constantly described how this is done to her. She has constantly mentioned people who are involved in the issue. She has constantly mentioned the people who helped her to even escape when she was being put in the body bag. Now, having said that, I have listened to the girl's interview, the lady's interview. Nothing seemed to me to be out of place. Many other people have interviewed her, and all of that seemed to be talking about one specific story. She has constantly remained on her story. Even if she's, let's even agree without, let's just purpose of argument, say she's mentally disturbed. Are you the institution called the Nigerian Army? Why did you not make a report to the authority that this lady is now mentally disturbed to the point that it is now affecting her duty? Do you have to take it upon yourself to treat her? That's what we should be asking ourselves. And then, having said this, this is one time too many. It's not the first time. It's not the second time. Among the military forces in Nigeria, that people have been accused of sexual harassment. It is high time the authority put in place a structured system that can checkmate some of these things. It's not just being accused when you speak and they say, well, you are a non-commissioned officer, and so you can't do much more than just complaining. Again, let us understand also that this thing is not within a space of 1 year. It's been on for a while. She has been constantly harassed by this same individual. Okay. Now let's say something. See, when I listen to some of what we have, our submission here, it shows that we have now come to a point where we don't even believe there's a law anymore in Nigeria, because I can't hear anybody saying, let these things be prosecuted. You are saying appeal to national. Is the National Assembly, has it become a lawmaking body? Has it become a judiciary? There's a judiciary. This is a crime against this individual. It's a crime against the Nigerian Constitution. It's one of the reasons why somebody can go to jail for rape. And if she have been assaulted many times, and she's saying that with evidence, she has the evidence, why do we now want to say, let us appeal to the National Assembly? To do what? Investigate? No. This case should be the Lawyers Without Border. And I don't have her details, I will ask her to, meet Lawyers Without Borders and let them pick up the case. Pro bono. They are there in Abuja. Let them pick up the case pro bono. If she's in Lagos, they are there in Lagos. Let them pick up the case pro bono. This is the case people like Nigerian Bar Association should pick up and go to the point of taking it to court. Let the evidence be exposed. Let people come to understand what has gone on between this young lady and this army officer for this many times that led to her being dismissed. Now, if she was being dismissed for not being mentally stable, why then offer her half pension? She's not qualified for it. It's not your making that she's had what she has. So why offer her that? I see that as a way of trying to settle her. So, okay, we'll just give you this. Just go and say nothing anymore. And so everybody's throwing it up and down, up and down. No, if the law courts are working, we should go to court. If she's telling the truth, let it be brought to light. If she's lying against the officer, let her be prosecuted and face the consequence. It's not a question of saying, okay, no, the army should come. I know the army won't investigate it, obviously, because he is a senior officer and probably his classmates are all generals and colonels and probably sit on the issue. Let the issue be taken to court. Let her go to court and seek redress. Let her look for lawyers who will take her case to court without pay. It's called pro bono. They are there. Okay? They will take the case and they will prosecute it to a logical conclusion. That's my submission. Let's not say she's not telling the truth. We don't know who is truth and who is not until the law court proves it. We don't know who is telling the truth. But from what she has said, for you to even put somebody in a body bag who is not dead, that's already an offense itself. Okay? And there are people who used to carry her out every time she's put in the body bag. Those people are still living. Let the court call them. Let them speak under oath. And let's see whether they'll be telling the truth or not. It's a serious issue and it should be dealt with in that order. Thank you very much for your time.
Jonaba,
thank you.
Thank you. I really appreciate your submission. Uncle Jonaba, I'll go to you next. Welcome to the show, sir. Thank you.
Dama, Tokwe and your guest, Tony, and my brother KJ. Nice to meet you guys here. KJ, you're not on the platform, but you look good. I hope you are having a good time with Pastor Eze. So, our guest, we all thank you for coming to. And then thanks to Adama and Tope for bringing this topic. I always say to you guys that women support women, meaning that the women have to be supporting each other. We will be all there for you guys.
Thank you, sir.
Such allegation. I will have a few words to say based the fact that I will make some calls and trying to get to the bottom of it and see how we can come, keep pressing. She's brave to come up because this is a way of life in Nigeria. People just do things and get away with it. But I'm glad that Dama, Topwell, and these guests and so many of us will continue to be a voice to those that are oppressed by systems like this. My dad told me that if you are not losing anything, there's no reason to look for something. So there is no justice in Nigeria, so it's very difficult to lose. It's a way of life, but we will get to the bottom of it. I may not make the call tonight. I will try to go to the bottom, and if anything, to know what to say and how to go about it, so there will be justice for that lady and so many other that are very scared of their life to come up in this way. Thank you.
Thank you, Uncle Janaba. I appreciate your submission and I thank you for your help. Thank you, sir. Man of Prestige, welcome to the show. I'm going to go to you next.
Yeah, right. Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. Nice to be on the platform again. Mr. Ade Edwin, I don't think I have
Adai,
the submission, but you don't have to repeat what you said. I think I have an idea from listening to some people. But for a disclaimer, can you tell me your authority? Where you? I mean, are you in one of the diaspora or are you part of the government? Just to see where the narrative is coming from, if you don't mind.
well, I'm a leader in the opposition party.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's good. That's good enough. Thank you. You don't have to elaborate. So I'm looking at what's happening. I've not really followed that lady story, but I've had it by bit about what actually transpired and everything. But judging from what she said, I will take her word as the truth. Because when it comes to the military, they tend to look after each other. It's not just common in Nigeria. It's even common here. But the issue I have in that space, the army shouldn't have investigated themselves. They should have an independent panel. And in Nigerian Senate, now they have the Senate Armed Committee. That's where this is supposed to be pivoted, and they can investigate and give us the truth part of it. And I'm very skeptical. How can they just discharge her and pay her 50% of her salary? So there's something there. They are thinking that, okay, we're just going to keep it short and give it only 50% of their salary. I don't know if she's qualified for that. So with that, there's something actually really going on there. Being that the people that she accused, they are top-ranking people. I can't even imagine her coming out and just accusing people without having her fight right. That this is Nigeria where we are, where there's an impunity that reigns to the highest level. So, okay, I thought you disappeared. So my question is that, what can we do in order to accelerate the situation? Any way we can write a petition or something like that, set up a good fund or that kind of thing. It doesn't matter, $5, $2, something like that, in order to help her case. If you can, I don't know if you have authority to organize such a thing, or maybe the platform can organize such a thing, we'd be very generous to help her, whatever, to achieve. I think even at all help her in whatever, for the kind of, for the punishment that they have made to her. Do you have an idea what we can do?
All right. Thank you very much for your question. Yeah, of course. There are a lot of ways to take this matter up. Number one, like I said earlier on, just to add to what one of the person who just spoke earlier on just said, he talked about going to court, which of course we are not ruling that one out. We are not ruling that option out. But you see, every system has the way it works until a case is established. Because as far as we are concerned, the army have ruled this case out as far as they are concerned. As far as the army is concerned, nothing happened. As far as the army is concerned, the lady is mentally ill. As far as the army is concerned, she's not telling the truth. But you and I know that when you look at the girl's body language, when you look at how assertive she were, when you look at how she have the effrontery, the courage, after I think is it Wanchuku or so, the spokesperson to the army came on board to counter her allegations. The lady again went to her TikTok page to counter what the military had earlier said. That means that the lady knows exactly what she was saying. That is a way of protesting that what you guys are doing or what you guys have said is not acceptable to me. But again, you are dealing with a private. this girl has, for you to be a private in the army, you can tell of her level of education. So literally you understand that she's not maybe a well-read person. She may not even have what it takes to go and maybe hire a lawyer. She may not even know the appropriate channels to go to get help from. So I think the only alternative probably available to her is the social media platform, which of course she was able to, express herself in a manner that the issue had already generated public attention. So I think the responsibility now lies on patriotic Nigerians who are seeing it differently in the light of the fact that an injustice has been melted on this girl, and what the military are saying is not true, and therefore to begin to fashion out the modalities on how we are going to help her out. Because as far as the lady is, as far as Ruth Ogunleye is concerned, the best she can do is to open up. The best she can do is to come online to say, look, I need help. What she actually did by coming to the social media platform to express her grievances is a way of protest. She has protested. She has expressed herself. She's crying out loud that patriotic Nigeria should come to her aid. So some of us here, we are privileged to, we've gone to school. We know how the system works. And that is why I am making a recommendation. Because there is an authority that is saddled with the responsibility to investigate this matter. The army is a very big institution. If you take the army to court as a single individual, you will know the outcome of the judgment even before the judgment is released. As an individual, you are taking the army, a whole army to court, you know what the outcome will be. But I think the best thing to do, before even the court will have the balls to do or to give, to give the right judgment that is necessary, there should be some element of, a kind of protest and a petition that will be submitted, because there is a statutory body that is responsible to investigate this matter, in this case, the National Assembly. Until an issue is properly investigated, then from what we are going to gather by the virtue of, the independent body that the National Assembly can constitute, then we can take those matters to court for proper interpretation. It is from there the court will now say, okay, based on AYZ, from what we have seen, I think so person is guilty. That is where justice can be melted. Do you understand? So I think collectively we can come together. I don't know how we're going to do it, but I think it is even better for us to speak from the opposition point of view. Because if you were able to reach out to members of the opposition party, because I don't even know who is the chairman Senate Committee on Army, there's every tendency that the chairman Senate Committee on Army may even be a member of the ruling class that is very close to these people. So let them see some push from the public.
I have a pushback to what you just said. You've been using the statements, the opposition party. Who are the opposition party? Could you define what you mean by that, so that our viewers can know who you are opposing to? So I can know as a moderator who you are opposing to. And the second question is, sir, have you reached out to Ruth Ogunleye personally?
Well, I haven't, to be honest, I haven't reached out to her yet. I think this matter has been in the front burner. I haven't reached out to her. I think maybe from the outcome of this meeting, I have what it takes to reach out to those who are maybe collectively we can, put a torchlight into this matter and probably assemble the right people to see what we can do going forward.
Miss Adama, please, I don't want to interject.
Yes.
I just want a quick question because,
Yes. Go ahead.
All right. Our guest, what do you think is the role
Mr.
of...
Ferrari, I'll come to you next.
Okay, quick question, please. What do you think the influence or a role of a very dark man can do in this case?
Well, you see, the young man has been going through a lot of, confrontation here and there. Yeah, he has what it takes to speak, about it. But I think if we can go through another channel, because there are too many battles that the young man is fighting. But again, if he can be talked to add his voice, is going to be also, a very welcome development. So, but I think the right thing to do really is to approach the body who are statutorily responsible. Because as it stands, we haven't heard anything from the National Assembly.
Okay.
And I insist, with all due respect, the appropriate, you see, investigating major institution of government like the Nigerian Army is the responsibility of the National Assembly. What the court can do is to only interpret what they have found out. But as it stands, we haven't even found out the truth of what has transpired. The record we are running with is what the army had released, which of course the lady objected and protested against, the findings of the military. So it is the responsibility of Nigerians to collectively take this matter to the appropriate body that have the statutory responsibility to act on it. You can't. The Nigerian Army is not a small institution. It's not a private organization. So there are certain people that have the authority to summon the leadership. And it is only the National Assembly that have the power to summon the leadership of the army. You can't tell a general to come and he comes. Nobody has that power in Nigeria.
I've had you. I got you. So when you mean your opposition party, it's not necessarily because you're opposition party, it's because you see injustice playing out on the social media against this young lady, and you as a good citizen, you think you have to gather momentum through the media and every means to make sure this does not happen to any other person. Is that your aim?
Yeah, I want you to define what is opposition.
Well, let me be straight. I'm a leader in the People's Democratic Party. I used to work in the National Secretariat of the party. And I have led a lot of protests. And I actually know that the way this government is handling this matter is not right. I have the capacity to rally around people who, of course, are not in conformity with what is playing out right now. By virtue of the fact that I am known, by virtue of the fact that I've led a lot of protests in Nigeria, by virtue of the fact that I have stood representing my party, fighting against what we found or seen as an injustice in the country, we have the capacity to actually rally around like minds, and when they see us, they know us, and therefore, with that, influence, we can rejuvenate this issue and place it before the appropriate authority to act on it.
I
Thank
think,
you, sir.
Dama,
Thank
please,
you.
I'm sorry, I'm not taking
Go
over
ahead.
your show. I'm just because we have to put things in the right perspective and also for the show to be interesting for those that are watching. So the issue right now I don't think the approach of making opposition parties should not be the word used often on the platform, because it's not about party or this thing. It's about the injustice you're seeing going, whether the present government pay attention to it or not is not the issue. The issue is that there is injustice, and you want to, as a person that have influence in as you are, that you said, you are trying to bring attention to it. And I think I want you to take opposition. It's not, you are not opposing anything, it's just justice you are doing here. This is not a party issue of APC or PDP or any other thing.
Well,
And by the way, are you from Benue State?
well, let me say this. It will not be out of place. There is nothing wrong, even if a political party is involved, because the main job of an opposition party is to criticize what is not going right. And there is one thing for you to speak as an individual. There's another thing for you to speak as an institution. So, well, it is okay for me to speak as an individual, but how far can it go? With the nature and the character of the people we have in government. Yes, I can wake up today and say, okay, I'm a concerned citizen, I'm a politician, I'm known, and therefore I felt what went what the army said against Ruth Ogunleye is not right. But how serious will they take it? So if it is not even wrong if an opposition political party speak against, because it is not even the platform really. It can be an opposition, it can be an individual. But you see, when an institution speak, it carries more weight. And in this case, I'm not even talking about PDP alone. I'm not talking about maybe the SDP or anything, but because in this case, I want to believe that the opposition parties, they are one. There is this conference of political parties where we meet and we discuss. So you're not going to make it a one-party affair. You can speak to probably IPAC, for example, to probably table this matter before members of maybe all the opposition parties in Nigeria, and see if they push it from that platform. I think it will carry more weight. That is my opinion. I'm
Okay,
not.
I'm going to stop by here and I'm going to exit now. But the point you are making is that once again on this platform, I'm not speaking for Adama and Tokwe who are in the electricity, but what I'm trying to say to you is that being on the influence, I know what it takes to do things. But then on the issue of party or no party, I believe there are people in the APC party that they have understanding of the issue and they also distance themselves from it. It's about exposing something from the natural source of it, that this is unacceptable, is happening. But it's okay. I also understand and I believe what you are saying. That is how Nigerian things are done to get those people against you. But I believe you that APC and any other person can hear it, and if they go to the bottom of it, they're still not going to be about party issue. If they have enough sense in them, which I do, so many of them will do, they will also be against it. So it's not about party partisanship of anything. It's about, yes, I'm opposition party. Yes, that is established, but this is what is happening to a citizen that you think the attention should be brought to it. Thank you. And you never answered my question. Are you from Benue?
Yes, I'm from Benue State.
Okay, thank you. I'm from
Thank you,
Benue,
Uncle Janago.
so I know.
Thank
All right,
you.
bye now.
Thank you.
Ferrari, I'll go to you. Thank you, sir, for being patient. Mr. Ferrari, I'll go to you.
Hi, good evening, Mr. Edwin Adai. My name is Alaba Ferreira. I want to ask you a question as a member of the PDP party that has ruled Nigeria for 16 years. And but before I push forward my question regarding this young lady's dilemma, she's not the only one that Nigeria is happening to. Nigeria is happening to a lot of people, and they are in distress and in pain. But before I push my question to you, so you know the context with which I'm asking you, I want to give you a little background of what my personal belief is. I believe Nigeria is currently a zoo, that it's a land of impunity. There is no existence of the rule of law.
That's
We do
not
not have
true.
a proper. Well, you can dispute it. That's okay. Everybody has their own opinion. That's why I said it's my opinion. We practice a system right now, which is not true democracy. We practice a system called big manism. It's how close you are to the corridors of power that you get your way. The rule of law doesn't apply to you if you're a big man. And if you're a common man, the state does with you as it will. That's my own personal belief. You can dispute it all you want. But my question is directed to you as somebody who's a member of a PDP, as you've rightly ascribed, and that party has ruled Nigeria for 16 years, at least in this political dispensation. In a sane society, when crimes occur, crimes are usually jurisdictional. That means they are geographically based. And if a crime occurs within an institution like the army, they are also jurisdictional. They are either local, state, or federal. There is an institution established to establish crime, irrespective of who it happens to. From your comments tonight, I've heard you say something that the lady who has been virtually abused, as alleged, has no other options but for us to come to the social media platform, beg politicians, beg the ruling party, give ourselves a lot of publicity as an opposition party. Your party has ruled us for 16 years. Is there an established rule by constitution regarding the violation of human rights? I mean, female rights, rape, institutional rights, things that are connected to, companies like, let's say, the NNPC, the Nigerian Army, the Nigerian Navy. If there is a violation within this institution, is there constitutional laws established within the Constitution of Nigeria whereby the person aggrieved can seek redress without having to go to social media to beg the ruling party to see that they've been abused? Do we have laws? Do we have people in charge of these laws? Do we have a district attorney? Like, I live here in the state, I live here in Chicago. If a crime occurs, even if the army headquarters is here in Chicago, the district attorney for Chicago will take up the case. If he can't handle this case, the state district attorney will take up the case. If that can't handle this case, the federal district attorney will take up the case. Now, if the army can investigate itself all it's won. Now, if all that institutional viability fails, then as an individual, as a citizen constituted by right, you can now take a civil action against the army. Do we have laws in Nigeria other than begging? Your party have ruled us for 16 years.
Okay. Thank you very much. First of all, Nigeria is not a zoo. We are all citizens of this country, and I can tell you categorically that this is Federal Republic of Nigeria, where people live, not a zoo. Number two is that we have laws, but whether the law is being respected or being adhered to strictly is another thing. It is one thing for you to have a law. It's another thing for you to another thing for the body that is responsible in interpreting this law should do it according to the letter and the spirit of the law. We do have a law. Number three, there's what we call Public Complaint Commission. And the Public Complaint Commission is in the 36 states of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. They are saddled with the responsibility of receiving complaint. They even have lawyers who can actually assist you in prosecuting or channeling your complaint to the appropriate body that have the statutory responsibility to act. But the question is, or I would like to submit that majority of Nigerians are ignorant of some of these institutions who are there, that they are supposed to go and make sure that they put their complaint or push their complaint forward. And because of that, majority of them are ignorant. And that is why, under normal circumstances, what is playing out right now, it should be a situation where the Ruth Ogunleye herself, she should have gone to the Public Complaint Commission, tabled this matter the way it is, because of course, whether they have heard or not, sometimes they will pretend as if they've not heard what is, playing out, until you officially write a petition and make your complaint formal before the institutions that are saddled with the responsibility will now begin to act on it. So as far as the public complaint is concerned, probably, I'm not speaking for them, but I can tell you that there is every predisposition that they may claim ignorance of what is happening or what is transpiring between the Nigerian army and Ruth Ogunleye. And that is it. So if, for instance, probably she have people who can say, okay, with what is playing out today, can you go to the Public Complaint Commission in Lagos and formally put this complaint before them? I can tell you that there is every tendency that the Nigerian government will act on it, and the appropriate institutions that are supposed to deal with it will definitely do so.
Sorry, so as somebody concerned for Ruth Ogunleye, have you approached her to take her to this public complaint?
I think I've answered this question. I've answered this question.
Yeah,
Jonaba asked earlier.
Yeah, we asked him the question and he said no. And to buttress what Mr. Alaba said, so quite frankly, I am shocked with your level of connection, background, and everything, that you would be the one championing things like that with your level of influence. Even before coming to this platform, I feel like you have communicated with who invited you. You should have told us at least, yes, I'm in contact with her. This is what we are going to do, me and my team. To be frank, to be honest with you, sir, I am disappointed that with your level of connection and everything, that nothing has been done on your part. Because when you said an assault to one is an assault, an accused to is a, an abuse to one is an abuse to all. So I am shocked that with your level of connection, is just what Mr. Alaba just said. It's like jungle law, jungle justice. Like, I feel like someone just mentioned, Mr. Janaba said, very dark man. Very dark man is just a regular citizen. He's just an influencer. He's not even an what do you call it? I don't know how very dark man got to where he is today, but at the same time, I love what he's doing for the country. But I feel like, sir, you know about this case, and coming to a platform like this, I feel like you should have come and tell us, this is what I have done so far. And I just want to tell you, as a woman, it breaks my heart to know that our men who are in position of power and connection see people with the voiceless and they do nothing about it. So it makes me start to wonder, why is everybody keeping their hands off of Ruth Ogunleye's case? Are we not part of the problem? Like, we see something, we say nothing, and we want a better Nigeria. And when Mr. Alaba said, Nigeria is jungle law, jungle, I agree with him, because a lot of things he said is the truth. How can my child, my daughter, come home and I can guarantee her that if anything happens in Nigeria, she will get justice? Quite frankly, sir, I don't get that vibe, that response from you. And I just have to be honest as a moderator on this platform. So I'll leave, Ekene, I'll go to you next, then we'll go to the next topic. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, thank
I
you.
think Man of Prestige hasn't said anything much. So maybe after Kenneth, Man of Prestige, do you want to weigh in? And
Yeah,
let Alaba needs
finish.
to.
Let Ekene finish. Then Man of Prestige will go.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ekene.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. And a special thanks to our guest, Mr. Andai Edwin. I think it's upon all of us here, all of us, no one except, should be exempted from this tax to begin to talk about this issue. If the media in Nigeria is keeping quiet, which I don't really agree that they are not acting upon that. I think some of the information I got it from most of those media houses in Nigeria. And we have our guest here. If he's not passionate enough to speak about this, I don't think he will be here. So he's here on this platform to join forces in order to speak up about this issue. So personally, I will encourage him, since he has got himself involved into this, to begin to use those connections or authorities that is in his disposal to begin to push over this. This shouldn't be allowed to be swept under the carpet. I don't want to single anybody's out. What is his name? Very dark man. He's doing us his own as a lone soldier, exposing the evils in that country. And then we have our guest here also doing his best to exposing this evil. So what we should be doing on this platform is to encourage him to continue to do that. If he needs a space like this, he should always be welcomed to come and use a platform like this to voice it out. And not only here, you can also use, we have a lot, but personally, I'll just owe him encouragement to use his office or his powers or connections to begin to continue to expose this evil. Nobody should be victimized. The victim there is in Nigeria. The root is the victim, and the perpetrators are free, living freely.
Yeah.
So we should do everything possible to hold them on their blockers. And what our guests, the life of our guests, what they need is our encouragement, so that they will continue to expose them.
Thank you. Why I said what I said, so that you understand what I said is.
Well, let me come in.
Yes, yes, you come in, sir.
Let me come in. You see, I understand your concern. Well, I'm this kind of person that I don't run away from challenges. I embrace it when I see one. If not because of my concern about this issue, who, of course, has been in the front burner. I think for the past 2 months, I have not really attended any major public function. Neither have I appeared on any national television, even though I have a lot of calls. I have to break my silence because of the sensitivity of this issue. I have to break my silence because of the respect I have for the person who invited me to attend this program. As a matter of fact, I've been bereaved. I just had to defy all odds, because what I felt and the injustice that is melted out on Ruth was not something that is really commendable. So I had to break my silence, even though I had it in mind to not to appear on any national or public function for the period of at least 1 more month. But I had to, break all those silence to see that I appeared on this very important platform. So yes, I understand your concern. We'll always try our best to do what we can do. But just like my friend rightly pointed out, it's a collective effort. You can even, that you're in the diaspora, you see the media platform has made things so easy. We can speak from anywhere. You can even make a short video and condemn this whole issue and post it online. It's still part of the agitation. So apparently, I just like he said, it's a collective responsibility. We will continue to do our best. Using platform like this and also reaching out to people who are really not satisfied with what is happening to see how we can do our possible best to salvage this country from this kind of abnormalities that is playing out. I think if we have this kind of mindset of not trying to push the blame so early, it will help us and encourage us to do more. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'll go to Man of Prestige, then I'll go to Mr. Alaba, then we'll go to another topic. Man of Prestige, you're next. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Adama. I believe everybody has spoken well. In my opinion, it's time for an actionable, we have to take an actionable course. Like Mr. Ade Edwin said, the lady is not well informed, being a low-ranking soldier or something like that, doesn't have the means or any resources in order to express her opinion. So the only means that she finds on the social media, which is a free media that she can, pretty much protest her grievances. So I don't know about in Nigerian space how things function. I think Falana or somebody else should take this case on a free book, on a free bono, so that represent her in a proper case. But I would say that we in DAFRA can champion it. Initially, that propose any means of stepping up a go fund. I'm going to contribute my own quota or whatever. I don't know if you want to lead it or the head of this platform or anybody, head of this platform can champion that. That will be good. If not that, we should make this as an example. Maybe the people in DAFRA, we should establish a hashtag, justice for her. That's because I don't really trust people in Nigeria, even the opposition in Nigeria, I don't know what kind of power they have, to conscientize what is going on in Nigeria. Can they really say something like Atiku B or whatever party you belong? They need to come into this space, and give justice to this lady. She definitely deserves it because it should be an awakening because she's not the only one, but she's the only one that's brave enough to come out on the social media, and bring this into the limelight. But we have to do our own part, beginning with the hashtag free her. Then if there's any other media that we can do our own part. Everybody has spoken. That there's nothing I can say much about. What everybody has spoken. Everybody has spoken pretty good. We just have to do our own part. So that's what I'll have to say, Mr. I don't know what kind of structure you have. If whether you can mobilize this or for anybody in DAFRA, we can do our own part. That's the way I say it. Thank you.
Thank you. Uncle KJ mentioned he mentioned an organization where she can reach out if she's in Abuja, Lagos. And I think that organization is what to highlight what he said. I think Mr. Ada knows that organization when Uncle KJ
Adama, we can't hear maybe we need their phone number, their WhatsApp number, that we
yes,
have.
Yeah, I think he highlighted that. Are you the one that can't hear me? Can everybody else hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, Topa is saying she can't hear me. Topa, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear now.
Okay. All right. So we want to go to the next topic. Mr. Ferrari is not here. And sir, I'm glad we have you here. I just want, Mr. Ada, we are honored to have you here because we want to have someone who is an in-body, like who has those connections, influence in the society. And we are glad that you are welcome to come to this platform and take our question. Even when we push back, you see it as a welcoming thing. And I think with you being here, you're the one that can champion this change with us backing you up regarding Mrs. Ruth Ogunleye. We want justice for her. And I think every man on this platform wants justice and the people in the comment section. And I think you're the right person to champion that change. And we'll be right here to back you up, sir. Before I go to the next topic, I want to go to Mr. Ferrari. Mr. Ferrari, I'm giving you just 2 minutes to go to your question because we have another topic. You're muted.
Yeah, Mr. Edwin Adai, I just, as a politician and as a teacher, I just want to implore you to listen to the voices of critics. When they say Nigeria is acting like a zoo, it's not because we want to cuss out Nigeria, it's because it's what we've observed. When we have a system whereby the common man does not have access to the rule of law. The soldier the other day shot a boy inside his house during the protest, inside his own father's house. If it were a country like this, the military will be sued and they will pay billions of dollars for the life of that boy. The reason why people like you, politicians, must understand that this system we practice now is big manism. It's not going to work, is that tomorrow, most of you will not be in the corridors of power. There was a time your party was in the corridors of power. It is not enough for us to come here, point fingers at those who are currently sitting at the seat of power. We don't have to build that country for all generations. It could be your daughter in 50 years' time or your granddaughter that's in the army and something like this happens to. If we don't build the enabling environment whereby the rule of law matters than the rule of man, we will all be like that yeye ball, where that yeye win, they blow for one yeye corner, where fella can put him mouth for song. Mr. Edwin Edwin, I know you're a politician, you're doing your best, I'm not blaming you. Your party is not currently in control, but you all have to see the decay that Nigeria is. Denial is not going to save us. Nobody is coming to save us. The US is not coming to save us. Russia is not coming to save us. This is something we have to do ourselves. Constitutionally, there should be rules in that book they call Constitution for that girl. There should be rules for that boy that was shot by the army. There should be rule for Nigerians that were killed by the flood, for them to be compensated, for them to be taken as citizens. You politicians have to do better than just point fingers and come to media once in a while. That's all I have to say. I have to leave you guys, but I thank you for coming. I commend your effort in the right for justice, and I'm telling you that we need to do more. That's all I just wanted to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Ferreira. I appreciate your presence and your question, your critics. And Mr. Ada, I really thank you, sir, for joining us. I don't know if you have more time. We want to talk about Very Dark Man and the Bobrisky case. So I wanted to ask you before going to that topic, do you still have more time with us, sir?
Well, I don't think so. I would like to maybe take my exit.
No problem.
Because yeah, that issue, I really don't have interest in it.
In that. No problem. Well, I just want to tell you once again, Mr. Ada, thank you for honoring our invitation, and thank you for taking the questions we have, the pushback. Really appreciate you, and we'll keep in touch with you in regards to Miss Ruth Ogunleye's case. And I believe you're the one that can champion the change, because this is a show about women, and we want to push it forward, and we want you to be the one that will represent the women segment in the Dr. Damages show to push this case forward, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Adama, can I ask the guest a question? Can I ask the guest a question?
Mr. Edward, can you wait 1 second? Yes, Mr. Fatai, welcome to the show. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Adama. Thank you, Topel. Thank you, guest, for coming. I think it's a very interesting topic and very important. I'm not in the military, so I don't know the military codes, but I believe there should be some international standards, because also to have a very strong military also involves the treatment of how an organization treats the lowest in quote people is also part of the strength of the organization. But I don't know, I think somebody asked, but what I was really disturbed about is when you talked about the public commission, that the public complaint commission, that maybe that if somebody doesn't write a petition, if an issue is out there in the public and so serious, do they really need a personal petition before they get involved? I mean, are they funded by the public? Don't they have a responsibility if there is an issue in the public? Why do they need exceptional petition before I mean, that's kind of like a little bit serious, concerning. But I also want to ask, it's not only about this lady's situation. There was also the lady that was given a very serious slap by the EFCC. There was I think it was there was a viral video by the EFCC, a very young lady, and then the EFCC said that they will investigate internally, but that's not an internal situation. When Sheon Kuti slapped the police officer, I think very quickly, or the same day or something, the Inspector General of Police gave that he should be arrested. But when a civilian is slapped by the law enforcement, very serious, the young lady, and nobody hears anything about that matter. That's also that's not even within military. That's between law enforcement and the civilian. It's very similar to Sheon Kuti's case, but it's not treated as the same. Do you know any update with regard to the lady that was slapped by the EFCC, the young lady? I mean, if I was the father of that daughter, maybe by now they already shoot me, because I couldn't imagine the way he slapped that lady. It was incredible. So those are my two scenarios. Like, why does the Public Complaint Commission need exceptional petition before it takes up a matter that is in the public, like that? And then if you have any update with regard to these EFCC, I don't think that is an EFCC. EFCC can do internal whatever they want, but this is a criminal situation involving the EFCC. Why is the police not arresting the EFCC official? That's a very young lady. The way he slapped that young lady, I couldn't believe it. You couldn't even slap your mate like that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr.
All right. Okay. All right. Thank you for your question. Your question is very valid, very important. First and foremost, I would like to put it this way. Officially, there are procedural aspects on how the bureaucrat works. The civil service have a way, they have their own modus operandi. I'm not speaking for them, but I'm just saying based on what I know. Whatever is not brought forward officially to them, I understand from experience and from the benefit of hindsight that they would drag in addressing or trying to take such responsibility. Is not the way it should be, but I can tell you that that is literally how the system is structured. So whatever is in the public domain, be it on the conventional or social media space, as far as you did not officially approach them to put it into writing, document written, or maybe a physical appearance in their office to make a formal entry, just like the police station, there is every tendency that such issues may not be, treated as an official, document or an official position. That is one, because the bureaucrats or the bureaucracy or the civil service, they work with papers. By their nature, whatever you want to do, you have to put it in writing. The civil service modus operandi is that they don't do anything abstractly. They must see it in writing, minute on it, pass it from one desk to another before an actions can be melted on it. Until and unless that is done, I don't think the federal government or the Public Complaint Commission would treat it as an official document or an official thing. They will just see it as one of the social media allegations and counter allegations. That is that. In terms of the, I really did not watch that video of the police, the EFCC slapping a young lady. But I can tell you that from the benefit of hindsight, I can tell you for a fact that, Nigeria is evolving. Nigeria is really evolving. There are a lot of things that is happening right now that ought not to be. The case of human rights abuses has been too many. A lot is so prevalent. Gender-based violence, which we are discussing. Issue of violation of fundamental human rights is still also a serious issue that is very prevalent in the country. And I think that the only way out is to continue to speak about it, is to continue to condemn it when you see one. Because the abuses is not just in the EFCC. All the, both the military, the Navy, the Army, the civil defense, as far as they are wearing uniform, the human rights abuses is becoming too many and too prevalent. And I think that the more we talked about it, the more we bring up, the right people to man sensitive positions, the more we have reforms in the institutions where rules can be amended and new rules can be introduced. Until and unless we continue to improve on that, the continuous, abuse of human rights will still continue. Like I said, we are still evolving. At the appropriate time, I can tell you that we'll get it right one day.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Papa, do you have anything you want to say before the guests leave?
The only thing I just wanted to add was while we're all talking, what went through my mind was I thought we had the different human rights societies and groups in Nigeria. We have politicians such as Mr. Adai. We have the likes of Atiku. We have likes of Peter Obi. Where are they? Are they saying they didn't hear about this situation? Because seriously, I'm thinking this Ruth case is just going to die a natural death. Where are all these people? Peter Obi visits people, that were affected by flood, people going through hunger, people dying in villages. This is a major critical issue. I haven't heard anything from his camp. Maybe I'm missing it. Maybe he did and I didn't hear. But I didn't hear anything from Atiku's group. I didn't hear anything. I didn't even hear anything from APC. It's like business as usual.
I feel like there's something about this case that everybody is staying away from. Iyabojo, the influencer, she said she calls herself mommy of whatever. I mean, people that you think will be on this case, everybody's just avoiding this case. And it's just, It makes me question what is it that we're not getting about this case? Go ahead, Ekene.
So, you see, that is the major reason why people like our guest here should be encouraged to begin to voice it out. You made mention of some politicians here, Tope, the likes of P2B, Atiku, Showore, Kwankwaso, all of them. They are all focused on the 2027 election, and nothing matters to them than that election. They don't care about any other evils going on in the society. It is only the people like VDM, Very Dark Man, that are speaking up. Those that
even
have
VDM
nothing.
has not even touched this case.
Well, you see, let me say this before I leave.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Let me say this before I leave. The truth of the matter is that too many things are happening in Nigeria simultaneously at the same time. You see, the abuse. If you turn to the left, you see one abuse. If you turn to the right, you see someone being killed. If you turn to the left, you see one policeman hitting another. If you turn to, so you see, the thing is that the rate of crime, let me use that word, the rate of crime generally in Nigeria is becoming too many. How many can you talk about? How many do you even think that the likes of Peter Obi, Atiku, and the rest of them know in a day? As I speak to you, to what has happened in Nigeria today alone, maybe it's the one that you have the opportunity to hear. There are thousands of those human rights abuses, felonies, serious crime going on daily basis. How many can they talk about? Just yesterday here, we have a case in Rivers State where the minister of FCT insisted that there should be no local government election in Rivers State. And I heard people like even the former president, Goodluck Jonathan, they came out openly to condemn it. Atiku spoke about it. The issues are too many. And until we begin to, sensitize ourselves and to take more responsibility to encourage some of these politicians, because they are doing a lot. You don't know, but they are doing a lot. They are just one person. Peter Obi is just one man. Atiku is just one man. Do you understand? Likewise, so they are one. This is just one individual. This so-called issue of crime, this so-called issue of things that is happening is a collective responsibility. Many of them, and sometimes as a leader, when you begin to speak on every issue, there is every tendency people will even interpret this as a desperate move. You are not seeing anything positive about the government. And then sometimes they are trying to be cautious. They are trying to apply some level of caution to see that they don't comment on everything. And that is why it will not be out of place if people like us take some responsibilities. This is a shared responsibility until we begin to understand that it mustn't, just like how Very Dark Man started. Nobody paid attention to him before. But because of his consistency and persistence, even this platform can do a lot. So we can't just leave it for, every time Atiku, every time P2B, every time Kwankwaso and all of that. This platform can even be a very strong channel of holding the government accountable, irrespective of the fact that majority of those who are speaking on this platform are not living in Nigeria. So we must continue to speak truth to power. It's our collective responsibility. And then once in a while, if there are needs, then we come together, lead some protests to see that we hold the government accountable. The issues are too many. Is it about the economic issue? Is it the impunity in the political system? Is it the economic situation that is biting everybody so hard? Is it the abuse of power by some of the institutions of government? Is it the number of people being killed? Is it about the issue of flooding? So the issues are too many. Do you understand? So I think that, with this platform, we can do a whole lot. Thank you very much.
I agree with you, Mr. Ada. Thank you for honoring our show. And I
God
thank
bless
you so
you.
much.
Yeah.
We'll be honored to have you back. And thank you for spending this much time with us. We're so
Thank
honored
you.
to have you on this segment.
Thank you very
sir.
much.
Have
All
a
right.
good night, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
So while he's
Thank
on,
you.
we're going to talk.
Thank you, sir.
We're going to talk on the next segment, which is about VDM. Bobrisky case, because I don't understand this case anymore, because Femi Falana came out the other day and made an admission in terms of, I don't know what is going on. This Bobrisky's case, I don't even understand what the Senate is doing about it, because this investigation is starting not to make sense with me. So Tope, I'll go to you. Go ahead. Tope, can you hear me?
Adama, just like, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Just like you, absolutely confused about this VDM and Bobrisky case. The hearing in the National Assembly that happened earlier in the week, to be candid, I was saddened in my spirit, because I was like, thinking, is this what Nigeria has become? This looks like a joke. A whole National Assembly is talking about Bobrisky situation when there's hunger in the land, when people are dying of hunger, where there's flood in the land, where children can't go to school, where the structures of the schools are dilapidated, and there are pressing issues, and Bobrisky's situation is what was brought to the floor. It basically just saddened me. Bobrisky's case is a case of it's a case of normal things happening in Nigeria. The high and mighty, the influential people get away with murder. That's just it. That leaked a clip of her, telling people, what actually happened, that she didn't go to, why am I calling her a she? He didn't go to prison. It was probably in a hotel in one high class room. It's just a case of the impunity that happens in Nigeria. I got to a point where I was thinking he was actually going to claim it was AI, artificial intelligence, that it wasn't his voice. I was waiting for that to come, and I think that kind of came out, because he was claiming that it wasn't him. My comments in other platform simply is, excuse my French word, he's just a basic fool. Because I'm thinking, even if Jesus Christ appears to me and I'm in Bobrisky's case, I won't even confess to Jesus or have that tete-a-tete conversation. Because at that point, I won't even trust Jesus with my conversation. No, to be candid, you did such a thing, and then you're talking to anyone. Who are you trusting? I won't even trust Jesus at that point. And then Falana's case, he's implicated. Let's forget that story. Now,
this is the question I have for you, Tope. What is Bobrisky? Is Bobrisky a transgender? Is Bobrisky is he what do you call it? We call them here drag queen. Like, what is it? Because for I watched some of the highlights of the testimony, and they said before they brought him into prison, he had breasts. So is he going through transition? And let me tell you, there is someone funding Bobrisky, and he's not the only one, the gay or whatever he is in Nigeria. So why is it that we are condoning men dressing as women in a country where we say we frown against gay whatever? So I don't get that part. I don't. It's kind of confusing to me. Maybe let me open it to Fatah and Ekene, let them comment. Go ahead, Ekene.
Okay. You asked a question. What is Bobrisky? And I have a definition for.
Can you just give me 1 minute, then I'll let you talk. It's just
okay,
1 minute. I don't have much to say, please.
Yes.
Adama, Bobrisky is just a grown man that is taking advantage of an industry that hasn't been tapped and making money out of it in Nigeria and getting away with it because he has godfathers funding him. Period. There's nothing else. He still has I strongly believe he still has his organs, male organs. Leave that thing. It's just cashing out and going to the bank, making money on an industry that hasn't been tapped because people are not bold enough. People are not bold enough to take that risk, and it's cashing out.
So what would you say about Charlie Boy? Is Charlie Boy not bisexual? If I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm the one thinking it because I know Charlie Boy. I've seen him with makeup, eye pencil, and all that stuff, kissing Della Ray and all that stuff. Is he not bisexual?
Kenny, I will say something briefly and then I'll hand over to you. Adama, growing up in Nigeria, Charlie Boy was just queer, as far as I'm concerned. Yes, he has Lady Diana, or whatever her name is, as the wife, but he was just queer. He too used to dress. Have you seen him with the makeup and all that, clothes and all that? But they'll hide under the fact that he's a celebrity, he's an artist, but he was seriously queer. But the part that I'm really not certain with about Charlie Boy's sexuality, and again, everyone has a right to their sexuality, work it, live it, own your sexuality. But a few years ago, and I'm not sure if anyone remembers, but I know I saw it somewhere online when Charlie Boy's child came out and was accusing Charlie Boy of not supporting him. I'm not sure whether the child is
No,
that
she's
child
a,
is
she's
the
a
child is
lesbian.
also, I think, I'm not sure whether she is the child gay or
She's
a
a
lesbian, I'm not
lesbian.
sure, but
Yeah, she's a
came out
lesbian.
openly and was criticizing Charlie Boy for not supporting. So that at that point I was confused. That's all I have to say concerning Charlie Boy. But he's been there.
Go ahead,
He's
Ekene.
gotten away with it for more than 30 years.
I agree with
He's
you.
in
I
his
think he's in the
70s now.
closet too. I think
Yes,
yes,
he's in his
I agree
70s
with
now.
it. Yeah,
Kenneth,
we just have to
over
see.
to
Go
you.
ahead.
So, to define what Bobrisky is neither a name of person, place, or thing. But Okuneye Idris Olarowaju is a male, confused male that wants to be like a woman by force, by fire. And when he was charged to court, he identified himself as Okuneye Idris Olarowaju, male. So, which means that his bola, everything is intact. His chest, they're all fake. As far as humanity is concerned, he's still a man.
They are all fake.
Right?
Big time.
Now, but the discussion is not about Bobrisky. Bobrisky is nobody to for me to even waste my time discussing about him. It's about exposing the corruption in our system. And when you have them in the National Assembly talking about this, somebody like me question a lot of things. Why is the discussion about VDM? What about the corruption that has been alleged in that audio by the prisons officers and by the EFCC or DSS, whatever they call themselves? How about the Falana, the so-called SAN that is supposed to be fighting corruption? Why is he, maybe directly or indirectly, but his son is involved into this kind of corruption? And that to tell you how deep we are into all this malpractice in Nigeria. This is about when your cup is full, then you are exposed. Our people say when the air blow, we see the nyash of a fowl, right? So we have a lot of them, a lot of the so-called sand that are into this kind of corruption. Are we talking about the Olisa Abakoba and his nonsense sand everywhere? But they are just empty, men of no substance. They are answering senior advocate, because they are not yet been exposed. Instead of you, the Falana, to now question, if you know that your hands are clean, why wouldn't you question Bobrisky for mentioning you in that audio tape? Why are you now trying to prosecute the person that exposed the stuff? So you see, the beneficiaries now are working together to victimize the person that exposed them, which is VDM. Both the National Assembly that you are talking about, they are all beneficiaries. They know about all these things. They all enjoy it. The Falana, he knows about it. They are all in the system. So they are now trying to make VDM a scapegoat. See, for any one of you thinking that Nigeria will ever be remedied, that person is still dreaming. Like I always say, Nigeria is gone. Nigeria, there is no solution. It's not only in the prison or EFCC, it's everywhere. Everywhere is rudely immersed into corruption. We're going to start.
Yeah.
It's irredeemable. Like people like me, I'm still saying that for peace to reign, for sanity, for us, so some of us to regain our sanity, let's just be bye-bye to this country. Just divide it. Let everybody go. It's too much. This was what prompted the military coup in the 60s. And it's still going on today. Corruption everywhere.
Thank you so much, Ekene. Mr. Fatai, I'll go to you, then Uncle Pansat, I'll come to you. Welcome to the show, Uncle Pansat. Go ahead, Mr. Fatai. You know why? If you want to speak, could you please turn on your camera, please? Thank you.
Hello. Yeah, apart from the previous issue, that was very serious, and I was very also interested in interested in what happened to the lady that was slapped by the EFCC officials at the hotel, because that's a civilian. I'm not sure that should have even been internal. If they applied the same standard that was applied to Seun Kuti, civilian to law enforcement, so why is the standard now different when the victim is a civilian? When the victim was a uniformed person, the Inspector General of Police straight, it was like, I don't know, like maybe the same day or next day, say Seun Kuti must be arrested by all means or something like that. But when it comes to the civilian who is the victim, and we don't even know what is the update. The police is not involved. There's no arrest. They said at that time, I think it was like the EFCC internal will investigate. No, it's not EFCC internal investigation. It's a prosecution situation, investigation and prosecution situation, you know. And so that was one thing I wanted to talk about. With regard to Bobrisky, I've never spoken about Bobrisky. I think everybody deals with life. Life is complicated, complex. We are dealing with life. Everybody is dealing with that in different ways. So I don't really have an opinion about the lifestyle situation there. But what I have opinion about with regard to Bobrisky is not even. I think the Bobrisky situation is it's something we call the original sin situation, which is the prosecution itself. So Bobrisky was prosecuted for whatever, spraying naira. I mean, so this was what was funny to me at that time. So they take something that is in Nigerian culture and prosecute this person. Well, by that logic, every Nigerian is a criminal. I think a lot of people may even make that point. There was even a lot of videos of different people who are also spraying. So because I think this law was passed under the previous CBN or whatever, or during Buhari or something like that. So this has always been happening. Right? So when they fail, so their failure, it's the people that should be criminalized for their failure, because they failed to make the naira worth it. Because if the naira has a value, if one naira note could buy you a Mercedes Benz, nobody's going to be spraying it anyhow. But because they have destroyed the value of the naira, and the people must become criminal for their inability to make the naira valuable. This is what just happened. So I think the National Assembly should focus on revoking that law that criminalized Nigerians, because the central bank is not able to make the naira valuable. Because if Nigeria is very, very valuable, I mean, we all, even when I remember back then when we were young, even like if you have a birthday party or something like that, even your parents will give you that. By that time, it was even the new note, the newness of the note that was interesting that you spray. It doesn't even matter the value. It doesn't matter. They will give you one naira note like this. They will spray a new note. Agoro. That is called agoro. The agoro-ness is what was important in the spraying, not necessarily. But now you can't spray. If you go to party now, you spray 200 naira. Nobody, the wasi will not go recognize you. You have to spray the highest note. But back then, it wasn't really. It was just the newness of the note that was in the culture. But now they have totally destroyed the value of the currency, and for their failure to make the currency worthwhile, they now criminalized the people, Nigerians. Say if the naira has so much value, you're not gonna be spraying it anyhow now. If you could send 1 naira to Japan and they send you one brand new Toyota, why will you be throwing it around like an idiot? You will not be doing, because it has no value. You just throw, So I think the National Assembly should focus on amending that law. Nigerians don't get to become criminal for the failure of the people who are in charge of running whatever it is, whatever the power. I think that would be a worthwhile whatever use of their time.
Time.
I'm not. I don't have opinions either way with regards to the lifestyle. Hello, Pansa.
Thank
How you
you.
doing, bro?
Uncle Pansa, to your next. Could you please unmute, sir? Thank you, sir. Welcome to the show.
But more than anything, I just can't anger with Yalo the General and Adama. I can't anger. Where is Yalo the General now? Where is
She's on the background.
Oh.
She's on background. She's watching.
Yes.
She's an
I will wait
event,
for her
that's
to.
why. No problem.
I will wait for her to holler before I go.
Uncle Pastor, go ahead. You're next, sir.
Hello, Madam Fatai. How are you, buddy? Long time no see.
Greetings,
Long time no see. Hello, brother.
Greet everybody.
I hope I say hello, brother. I hope you don't. Because I heard you are your great grandfather. So when I say brother, just the way it flows, I hope you don't mind.
No problem. I haven't seen a long time, Fatai, and when we were younger, that your haircut that we used to call it Agilo, the style. Anyway, so I see Madam Luke coming in. Let me say hello to Madam Luke as well as she's popping in, and those who are in the comment section. Adama, this is going to be a good show.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Madam Luke, welcome. Thank you.
Madam Luke, it's a beautiful sister who's very generous. Everywhere she goes, she got a big heart, and she's very tough. If you go out of line, she would check you. So anyway, so on your show, and I hope this topic, because I think Fatai treated it very well, so I'm not going to spend that much time on it. Probably the nexus to the society from other topics that we talked about. That's a link, that's a connection, it's a network, that's a tie to. If we're to let people come on online to trash Christianity, I'll say religion, but when I say religion, I mean Christianity. A lot of people work very hard in a society, in churches, small churches, mid-sized churches, and big churches. Now, some of the pastors sin as well. But if we were to just let these people win, trash our religious institutions, then you're going to have Bobriskis and all kinds of people all over that society, right? Now, I'm not one to judge lifestyle. It's a new thing. I remember earlier in life, maybe 40 years ago, you don't even come to the public doing those kind of things with sexual connotation. We've always had the art of people who dress like women, but they're doing something else. Either they're like comedians and they're entertainment. It has nothing to do with sex, right?
but you give them chance and they want to come out in the public and start showing their sexuality or whatever it is they do. It's not supposed to be in the public, but life has moved on. So now when you come to our society now and you begin to see the kind of topic that we're preoccupied with, this Bobrisky guy here and the other guy, very dark man, who does a lot of good work, by the way. He's a courageous guy, and in certain aspects, he brings to light corruption and fight for those who cannot fight for themselves. And then sometimes he does go overboard, and then cause the wrath of the law enforcement as much as we have it in the country. So these are things that should be sorted out. Right? I believe that people should have the right freedom of expression, freedom of association, those rights they have, but they should also be very responsible, because I've also seen some of these people go overboard, including people who are on platforms, myself included. I would say that we should still be able to look at it in segments. The decay in Nigeria, the blight, the corrosion, degeneration in our society, first of all, is with our constitution. It's with our government institutions. But for example, we don't have courts. APC is able to show their hubris, somebody like Wike, Tinubu, because they know ultimately everything comes down to that Supreme Court, and it's gone. The person who is in charge, the Chief Justice right now, is the corporate that made Ozodema a governor in Imo State, where I don't even know if he contested in the election or he came fourth or something like that. So only animals will live in a society where you don't even have a judiciary, a justice system. So those are the kind of topics. I want to wait till you change the topic again. I don't have any opinion on Bobrisky. I'm not particularly, I don't know much about him, but I'm here in the United States, so we have all kinds of characters, you know. There's nothing we don't have here in this United States. And a lot of Nigerians who do that kind of thing, he's doing actually copying the degeneracy in Western societies, not knowing that we're not the same. We're a traditional country for right now. All right. So we should not be spending too much time on that distraction. Every Nigerian should be aware that we don't have a judiciary. We have the elite, the corrupt elite cornered that area. So no matter what's done in the society, it ultimately goes to that court, and the court is going to deal us a heavy hand. So I would sit back and I wait until you finish with this topic. When you go to a political thing. Oh yeah, by the way, let me say that Femi Falana, who is a luminary in the legal arm of our country, but he's always played a role that is very suspicious to me, which is to give soft landing to various administrations. He would come across like he's actually fighting for us, the downtrodden, the poor, but administration after administration. For example, when Jonathan was there, he's smart enough to know that Jonathan is not the brightest bulb in the room. However, when you compare him to people like Buhari, there's just no way. He doesn't know that Jonathan is better than Buhari, but he played a very, very bad role during the Jonathan administration. And he wasn't that effusive or forceful during the Buhari administration, and he's not that now. Now, his son is a good actor in the country. I like his politics. It's progressive and very modern. But you have to separate those two. Falana, I really don't know. And I watched his activities during the Obasanjo Inquisition area, when Obasanjo was being tried in a commission and all that, but that's beyond the scope of what we're doing. So we cannot afford to let these distractions take us away from what we should be discussing today, which is judiciary, the elections, the non-separation of the branches of government from our executive to the legislature to the judiciary. They've captured the state to where there's no more check and balances, and nobody should rest until we thwart it or take the country back, especially according to my own 10 by force. So thank you very much for the opportunity to speak, and good to see you, Fatai. Where's Madam Luke? She's having connection issues.
Yeah, she's
Thank
having
you.
connection issues. I think, yeah, she's frozen. And I know she has something to say in regards to this very dark man and Bobrisky. Madam Luke, if you can hear us, let me bring her back in. Topo, if you have something to do, let me take her out. And
Adam, I think you may have to take Madam Luke out,
Yes,
and then maybe
I'm about to
let
bring
her
her
join,
back in.
see if she can join in again, and then
Yeah,
you
that's
bring
what
her
I'll
back
do.
in.
Yeah, go ahead if you have something to say. Go ahead.
Hello, the general. Hello, could you make so? Hello, the general.
No, but Uncle Passat, let's have a free flow. You just said something about the what we need to talk about. So go ahead for our viewers. We have we're ending in the next I believe what's his name is here. To Nigeria, we're ending in the next 15 minutes. So are you okay with Uncle Passat having a free flow? You okay with that, Tokwe?
Do you mind if me and Pansal have a conversation?
Yes, go ahead. Yes, that's a free flow. Go ahead.
Sure. But I thought Fatai had something to say briefly.
Yeah, let Fatai go. Go ahead, Fatai, whatever you want to say. Go ahead.
Yeah. I wanted to, it's not really the
Okay,
women
Fatai, can
issue.
you wait? Madam Luke is
Yeah.
back. Madam Luke, can you
Sure.
go? Hey, Mama.
Sure.
I can't hear you. You're muted.
Hola.
You're muted. Yes, we
Can
can
you
hear
hear me
you
now?
now. Yeah, we can hear
Good.
you now.
All right,
Good
let me
evening,
speak.
ma'am.
Yeah, you can hear me well?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I have been listening all this while from the religious section. Unfortunately, I have kitchen duties. And of course, I'm a strictly weekend worker. So it's hard for me to continue. But having said that, I'm just going to go back to the root thing and just say a brief sentence on that. I wonder when we're going to have people like Gloria.
Whatever you want to talk about, Madam Ruth, you can talk about it. So you're a VIP in the women's segment. So have it all you want to.
Thank you. So, hold on. Okay, so, Madam Ruth, I wonder when we're going to have people like Gloria Outrage in Nigeria, so that anything that affects women will take up. We have lawyers in Nigeria. Why are they not speaking up? Female lawyers in Nigeria. Why are they not speaking up? Why? Must we wait for the men to do everything? It's even a man that came to the show today to come and speak on this affair. It's just disgraceful. I was just listening and I was like, why bother? Because we don't even have people in our situations here to support us. So going to the Bobrisky and the very dark man issue, with all due respect, Mr. Spencer, this is not a triviality. Discussing Bobrisky and very dark man is not a triviality. It exposes the rot in the Nigerian society. You see, Mr. Falana, that one that calls himself a son. If you check very well, allegedly, why did Bobrisky link his son to, why did the very dark man link his son to Bobrisky? You see all this, Nigeria is one hell of a Hollywood. You see all those things going on in Hollywood right now with PDD? It's going on right there in Nigeria. Most of them are on the down low. Why did very dark man mention Falana's name? And on a normal circumstance, this is not an offense that should make This is not an offense that should make Falana start screaming on the roof of his mouth. What is he protecting? What is he protecting? because they touch his son in that very special area. He don't want nobody to. So he's blowing his trumpet up and down the place. But when it was time to help Tinubu when he didn't have a certificate, he was there giving counsel. When is he ever going to stand truly for the poor person on the street? Why is he not taking up Ruth Ogunleye's case? That Falana is a snake. I never liked him and I will never like him. Anytime I see him on TV, his presence is totally nauseating to me. And why is his son not talking for himself? And somebody is asking what is exactly Bobrisky. Bobrisky has totally transgendered. Totally transgendered. What is transgender? From her waist up, what do you see? Is that not being a transgender? You want to see the one between her legs before you know she's a transgender. And all the people that are patronizing Bobrisky are men. All the people that are top position men in Nigeria. Top position, because the woman is not good enough. They not deal with freaks. Like I said, whatever is going on in Hollywood right now is happening right there in Nigeria. All those freaky parties they have, all those nonsense they do. Why is Falana screaming? All Bobrisky said was that they played what was on the tape. Was it Barry Darkman that made the accusation? So why is he screaming? That man is a snake, I'm sorry to say. And like I said, Mr. Pensa, this exposes the rot in Nigeria. And as far as those military people are concerned in the Ruth Ogunleye's case, they ought to be ashamed of themselves. That is the reason why the military in Nigeria will never have meaning and will never have prestige. You see all those boys, those were ex-cultists that used to violate women, even from school to school. So it's a pastime sport for them. Imagine drugging this lady, putting her in a body bag. Do you know what that lady has gone through? That she's already screaming. She only God knows. She even practically has to go for serious medical attention. And we are here thinking that it's trivial. No, Mr. Panzer. Bobrisky and Very Dark Man's situation exposes the rot in Nigeria. Take away the two of them. Focus on the message. It's not about religion, because that religion, with all the churches in Nigeria, that place is one hell of a asshole. The religion has not done anything for Nigeria. The pastors have not done anything for Nigeria. And like I said, religion is supposed to be a personal thing. Don't expect any salvation from religion. So I said I was going to keep it brief, and I'm going to keep it brief. Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you, Madam Luman. I do definitely, absolutely agree with you. I don't really think Falana is innocent. I think he's deep into this. If Bobrisky's tape didn't leak and he didn't mention Falana, we wouldn't have known to the extent of him and his son's involvement in this case.
Thank you. And don't forget there's a part 2 of the tape coming. That man is just holding it so that the Godfather will be revealed. You see all the numbers he was editing. They got the log of Bobrisky's call in the prison, in the so-called prison. They have all the logs. They paid the phone company and they got all the logs. So you see, a lot of things are going to go down. Like I said, Hollywood has their own. Nigeria is doing their own. Why is Falana screaming? You see that his son passed. That one is as shady as they come. As shady as they come. That family, there's just something not right with that whole family. So please, yes, continue.
But my concern is, who are the godfathers? Who are the godfathers? That's my major concern.
You remember one time, Tonto Dike and Bobrisky had a fight. They mistakenly leaked out that person supporting Bobrisky has the biggest house in Banana Island. They didn't say more than that. So everybody was able to connect the dots. And when this same person was accused, was trying to be blackmailed by some hookers from outside the country, they squashed the case. They squashed the case. So you see, Nigeria has, you know what? Like I said, God, they learn walk where Satan did for Nigeria. Let me put it that way. Repeat what I said. I said, God, they learn walk where Satan they perform for Nigeria. Satan has totally taken over that
Thank you,
country.
Madam Luke.
Thank you.
Fatai, do you have anything to say before we round up?
Yeah. Nothing really much. I will hope that for the sake of I mean, we want our country to at least look more sane, to be better, the military to address this ladies issue, because I don't know. I think the way a society treats their weakest is all says something about them, So I don't know. I think they should address it, and I would hope they address it, and I would hope the police give the equal treatment they give to the Sheun Kuti situation. I hope that they give the equal treatment to that situation with the lady that was slapped in the hotel by the EFCC official. So on those two matters, I hope for we want to hear. I mean, let's hear good thing. Let's hear things that don't make us feel like our country is stuck in the 12th century. Let's feel like we are still not in the 12th century. All of these things is like 12th century stuff. So anyway, that's it's a prayer and a hope. I hope. The country is very complicated. Sometimes you don't even know what's going on. So, well, the whole world is complicated, but it doesn't hurt to be better. It doesn't hurt at all to be better. Yeah. So let's say about that. The other thing I wanted to ask, I think there's no time. I also think this is not the forum to discuss it. But I was listening to Pansat, your conversation with. I just woke up that day with two Ninja. I already heard it on television anyway, many times. I was like,
You can briefly talk and if you need to ask Pansat anything, that's fine.
Yeah. 1 minute, I will just make sure I summarize it. I think even up till today, brother, do you still know? Because so they already saw. The other. I hope I wasn't. I hope I wasn't too forceful with Prince the other day. I was talking. I couldn't. I was totally didn't catch what I was doing. So I wasn't disrespectful. I don't get the sense you felt disrespected. I hope I wasn't.
No, absolutely. I felt it was fine. It was a good pushback.
Yeah, okay. Because the heat wasn't towards him, it was towards the situation. So I hope he didn't feel disrespected. I didn't mean to if he felt so. So Pastor, do they already sold this EFCC, and I think I mean, to a big extent, I go along with a lot of your argument with regard to, because what's going on? I mean, we don't know what's going on. I mean, I totally lost it when they already sold petrol and they are showing us plats. Say, oh, some plat. Hey, we don't need plat. We need the receipt of that transaction. We don't need some speculative plat price. Who cares about it? No, we're not talking about future transaction. We're trying to gauge how you buy it. You bought it already. Which was the receipt? So I don't think Dangote, also with the interview he did with Bloomberg, I don't think he's doing himself. I mean, he might look good to gullible Nigerians, but he's not doing himself good to any serious person looking at the whole thing mess there. I don't think he's doing himself a lot of good. Anyway, it's not the time, it's not a lot of time, it's not the forum to have the conversation. I just wanted to say that to Pansat. Thank you, the ladies. Thank you, everybody.
Kene, we're about to end. You have your last 2 cents before we end.
Yeah, that's my own everything. Thank you very much.
You say you're about to end? Hello?
Yeah, they have another show coming up, I believe.
Yes,
okay.
we're about to
Sorry
end,
about that.
and I think Nigeria is going to have a new segment.
Yeah, let me respond to both Luke and Fatai on their takes. Madam Luke, obviously, it's not a trivial issue. I believe you used the word trivial.
Okay, can I please give Mr. Pansat a minute?
Now, they are trivial in the sense that I'm not saying that it's unimportant or that it's insignificant, frivolous, or something demeaning. No, it's, everything is important, but it's relative. Relative, we're speaking about relativity. In Nigeria, I believe in practically every country, even here in the United States, there's a difference between the court system, where somebody's sentenced, and then you have the corrections, Department of Corrections. They will use the word Department of Corrections here. It will have a counterpart in Nigeria. And that's when you then go into the cell, the jail, the prison. And that's a totally different administration. Now, we shouldn't be worried about the rich, the famous, the Bobrisky's and all those people, because in that system, it's rotten. There are people who are in there who haven't even been to trial. The food more than likely is atrocious, being that the people outside don't even have something to eat. So who knows what the prisoners are eating? Now, there's something somebody should not fight in any disguise where I am, which is success, for example. If somebody's rich, they're going to have a different predicament no matter what's going on. If they go to jail, they go to prison, maybe inside that administration of that prison, the correction department might house them in a better place where they have to feed themselves. Okay, so that's a first world problem. I don't regard it as unfair. If you go into inside in the administration of that correction facility and they house somebody in a better place because they have money, or because of his lifestyle, they don't want him in what they call a general population for his safety, they put him somewhere, right? They could always argue with good reason why they're treating somebody differently. Is it fair? It's not fair, right? Here and other places, the same phenomenon obtains. So I'm not going that deep down into it, because right on top, we have a problem. The structure of the country, it's not sound. We don't have a constitution. Our votes don't count.
We need to, sorry for cutting you short. We need to
No, he's fine. He's fine.
end
He's
the
fine.
show.
He's fine.
So we
No,
need
no,
the
no, no.
Kenneth
He's
to
fine. No, no, no.
just
He's
close
fine.
in a few minutes,
Yeah.
and then we
No,
end.
Dr. let him finish his sentence.
Let me land there.
He's fine.
So, but I would bear that in mind, by the way. So I would try to end it because I was also going to touch on that this is a multifaceted discussion that should be thoroughly dealt with. In the Bible, for example, when King Solomon took over from his father, King David, the Lord appeared to him in his dreams and asked him, "Now, whatever you want, I'm going to give you. What do you want?" So what he asked for is God to give him, as his servant, give him understanding mind. That's what he asked for. They didn't ask for money. They asked for power and all that kind of stuff. You have to have wisdom. Is the key here when we're dealing here. So it's curious. It's interesting probably to talk about the peripheral issues, Madam Luke. It's probably a good thing to come here and glorify the juicy part of this thing. But I'm not really cut out for that. So I will end by saying that yes, I agree with you 100%. It's serious, but relatively speaking,
Mr.
yeah.
Pastor, sorry, what did you say about it?
No, what I'm saying, the gossip part of it, where you delve into the lifestyle itself, and I said, but anyway, Patai, so colloquial. I mean, juicy as in colloquial, nothing else, not about the yeah. So I'll yield back by saying to Fatai, we'll meet again, and then we'll have a more substantive discussion. I have no qualms with all the stuff, and then good to see you, buddy. All right, guys.
All right, so I will go to you, your final submission, then we'll go to Madam Luke, then Topper, then I'll end the segment. Okay. Go ahead, Akena, your final submission. Thank you.
Yeah, they will, Mr. Pansat. Madam Luke, Akena Kwange. Still talking about Bobrisky? I'm just concerned about the corruption in the system.
Whatever your final submission is on the whatever we discussed about.
Have you guys discussed about this kid? Is it who's kid or confused kid? And
no.
Okay. Your final submission. Okay. So my final submission is about.
We had a free flow, and you didn't come early.
No.
You can talk about it.
I was attending to something.
You didn't come early.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm more concerned about the corruption in Nigeria. If they like, let them give Bobrisky 5-star hotel in the prison yard. That is not my business. My concern is about some people trying to paint a picture of being outstanding senior advocate or outstanding lawyers fighting for the downtrodden, or posing as what they call it, freedom fighters or advocates. Then at the end of the day, these are the same people that go behind doors and collect bribe and be doing some nasty things behind doors. Then we have the prison and EFCC, whatever they call themselves. If you truly charge Bobrisky for what they call it, Naira mutilation, why did you all of a sudden decide to drop it? Why the likes of, not that I'm speaking for that clown anyway, one Cubana chief priest was charged to court and he used money to bail himself. So if you want to condemn evil, can you condemn evil in its entirety? Don't just pick and choose because of money or because of affluence or because of the fact that the person is among the class of elite. That is my concern. If the prison is meant for citizens of Nigeria, citizens of Nigeria should go to that prison. But if you decide to give them 5-star, that's no problem. But my take there is, why is it that in Nigeria, nothing will ever be done the right way? Everything is rooted under corruption. Everything must have 1 or 2 fingers deep in the corruption. Why is it so? Can't we just have one thing, just one, done the right way? Can't we just have something done the right way? No. Every day we will talk from morning till night. Some of us do develop headaches sometimes, talking about Nigeria. Still, nothing is changed. They will still keep doing what they are doing. Now I'm talking about these 2 boys disturbing us in Nigeria. Though I don't really want to talk about them, but it's becoming something very, very, noisy on social media. You had your own time, in as much as some people were alleging that you were visiting Didi and he was using baby oil and all that and giving you awards left, right, and center, right? You've had your time, right? You've had your time. Now, can you allow this young Davido to enjoy his time? Every time you are just being bittered for nothing, dropping nonsense, insulting people on social media. Are you the only unwise boy on social media? Can you respect yourself and allow people to enjoy their time, right? So this is it. It's not about, somebody was saying that is the jealousy, jealousy, Nigerian jealousy. That's how you jealous themselves. Not only in Nigeria, even abroad. or jealousy everywhere. If they see you eating 4 square meal, they will start being jealous. If they see you, it's everywhere. Can we just try to behave like human beings and know that all fingers are not equal? Somebody must be above you. So accept that fact and mellow yourself, you know.
Thank you.
You know? Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Fata, your
Bye,
final submission,
everybody.
then we'll come to Madam Luke. Oh, thank you. Oh, good night. Have a good
For
night.
me,
Madam Luke, yeah, do you have a final submission before you leave?
I just want to say hello, bye-bye to everybody.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice seeing you, Mr.
Bye-bye,
Fatai. I'm honored. No problem.
yeah,
Fatai
nice to meet
Imi,
you,
thank
everybody.
you. We are honored. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye-bye,
Thank you.
Bye,
bye,
bye.
bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Madam Luke, your final submission, then we'll come to talk with it. I'll say my final segment, then we'll end it. Thank you, Madam Luke.
Thank you, wonderful ladies and gents. Unfortunately, thank you, wonderful ladies and gents. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you.
I'm not even going to discuss those children. Anytime I see the whiskey, the video, I just
Ekene is the Gen Z of the platform, so he has to talk
exactly.
about his
I don't
people.
even.
So
It's small girl, though. So you know the shop is.
I've had enough. I'm oversaturated with the PDD, Obama, Trump saga going on there. So I don't even need another low grade one here in Nigeria.
I agree with you, Madam Luke. I agree with you.
I'm
No,
not.
Ekene has to represent the Gen Z section of these segments, the Bumi and Ekene segments. Yeah, so
that's okay. These are people who have been blessed, fortunate to make it in life.
That's okay.
And they have a lot of reefer, loud, whatever they combine these days to live out their existence. So they can to continue doing what they're doing. Nigeria is becoming a real headache. In fact, after discussing it, you go back to your bed and your heart is still beating. So I don't know how we're going to get out of this mess. Look at what is happening in River State. I mean, I don't know how we got to this place. And we have a president, or you have a president who is somewhere on annual leave. On annual leave. So one day, one trouble, very dark man. I hope he continues on this path, exposing the ills of the society, so that way we can be educated. I'm not interested in their sleazy bedroom or whatever they are doing activities. I'm sure we all have all of our own to deal with. So whatever they're doing there doesn't concern me. But
what did you say? You said we sure we had about what did you just mention?
I said we all have our own things going on at the side of So I'm too busy with mine. So I don't even care to know about any other person's own. So my question is how Nigeria can get better.
Please don't get started. Leave you where it is. You know the camera is on. Let us behave professional today before they say that man started. Please
No. What I'm saying is that it's a personal lifestyle. So we all have our own stuff. And you see, and I told somebody, I always tell people, I'm the last person you're going to blackmail. If you think you got stuff from me, I will flood the internet with a whole lot more. A whole lot. I don't give into blackmail. That's my thing. I don't give into blackmail. I won't pay you shishi. So Nigeria needs to develop a brave spirit so that you can fight oppression. But we're not there yet because we're hungry, we're poor, and then the psychiatric aspect. 90% of Nigerians, there's something wrong up here. That you can stand on the street for a loaf of bread from morning till night. What is that? Here, churches open up food banks. You line up free. You line up free and you eat. So you see, when people say Nigeria's problem is spiritual, you better believe it. It has nothing to do with church. Nigeria is going through a spiritual curse. And what it's going to take to get Nigeria out of it, I don't know. So we shall keep praying. Thank you, my people.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Tope, I'm going to come to you next. Tope, can you hear me?
I thought Kenneth was meant to say something.
Oh, no. I cannot finish talking.
Huh? Yes.
I cannot finish talking.
I've finished talking. I think you are lagging. You need to restart your system.
No, Tope, you are the one service to talk.
You need to.
Tope, go ahead, your final submission.
Okay. On behalf of Electricity and Adam, I would like to thank everyone for joining us today. Uncle Passat, we appreciate it. Thank you so much for your support. Kenneth, thank you for your support, and everyone on the comment section. We appreciate you loads. Please keep fighting for women rights. Ruth's case cannot just die a natural death. If you have any platform and you have a voice, please explore all options to be able to assist and throw more light into Ruth's case. Kenneth, you can have my remaining 20 minutes.
Please leave him. Please don't get him started. Please just leave him alone. I just want to say to all our viewers, thank you for tuning in to our guest, Mr. Ada. Did I mention his name right up there? Ada, is that his name, Mr. Ada? Adia, or what is his name? Yeah,
Adai.
right? Adai.
Yes.
I just want
yes.
to say
Mr.
thank
Adai.
you, sir, for honoring us with your presence.
Adai.
Thank you, sir. Ekene, thank you for coming, Uncle Pansat. We are really honored to have you here, Madam Luke. Electricity, thank you for all you do. We just want all our viewers watching us, thank you. We appreciate you all. We are coming to the end of this segment. There should be another show coming on. If not, we see you guys tomorrow at 12:30 on I think there's a special order coming on tomorrow. So Dr. Damages has 90 minutes. Is it not 90 minutes tomorrow? Am I wrong? 90 minutes tomorrow, right? The interview he has a
correct.
Yeah. So we just want to, on behalf of Tope O and I, thank you all for tuning in to the ladies segment. Please, you all have a great weekend. We'll love you all. Thank you all. Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. Thank you. Have you subscribed? Yes, you. Have you subscribed? You. Yeah, before you go, click. It's free. Click. Just that's it. Have you subscribed? You are laughing. Have you subscribed? Have you subscribed? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, madam. Thank you so much. I can see you. I can see you. We have to get to 100,000 subscribers. By the end of the year, how are we going to do that if you don't subscribe? Yes, you. Yes, you're about to click off. Why? Have you subscribed? It's free. If you don't, ask your son, ask your daughter how to. Just one click. Thank you. Thank you. I see you. Aha. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'll see you tomorrow.